The following may include subject matters of war, violence, loss, and adult themes which may not be appropriate for all audiences. Viewer discretion advised. Previously on Darkeport.
Episode 18. Nilishli follows Griff immediately after the meeting in Lady Livia's office. He reveals more of his past to the divine construct, and she manages to convince him to join the Fellowship in their upcoming journey to the island they hope is Jason Tenderheart's final resting place. Mare and Wesa witness the end of the healers' caucusing. Granny Dewshine is to leave Jaramentum on a walkabout in an attempt to cleanse herself. At the end of that time, she will return and face the judgment of her eldest daughter, Korma, herself an accomplished healer. Merrick once more seeks out the granny, asking for answers for himself. She has none to give. Marcus converses with Lady Livia, setting in motion several gambits crucial to the survival of the city. The lady thanks him, and her appreciation of and trust in the true cleric continues to grow. Titus holds an intimate family dinner within the kitchen of the keep, with himself, Livia, the elderly Seneschal Rutilius, a distracted Catryn, and little Jerem in attendance. Later, Merrick speaks with his wife, Jasmine. She confides that she wishes to have a child with him, but doesn't know if she's able to anymore. She also asked Marcus to heal Merrick's injuries from his captivity in Pollux in order to make this possible. Marcus obliges, attempting to do so, but fails. Time marches on, and the negotiations with Leptis Regium draw ever closer.
Welcome, friends, curiosity seekers, and connoisseurs of fantasy the realms over. You have once more found yourself in Darkeport, and we thank you for joining us. We're excited to bring you another tale, if not of daring do, then certainly of another chapter in the Chronicle of the Fellowship. And yeah, can't wait to see what the kids get up to tonight, so to speak. Before we do that, I do have a somewhat bittersweet announcement. So Anika, who plays Catryn here, was the very first person that I asked to be a player. Corey, of course, is our CEO, and so we talked business before, but she was the first person that I knew I wanted in this fellowship. She's whip smart, she's funny, she's a wonderful energy in the room. Really understood her character, was incredible with the ungodly buckets of lore that I dump on her on a sometimes daily basis, and she really represented that character incredibly well. So I am planning an interview with her in the near future, and we can get into what her experience was and why she's no longer able to join us on the journey and whatnot. But I just wanted to say it was nothing disastrous, quite the opposite. She's sometimes with hardworking people who are really smart, and with a little bit of luck, you make some big breakthroughs, and she did. So I'm delighted for her, and we wish her nothing but the best. Hopefully Catryn is still going to be able to join us from time to time, with a little bit of advanced warning, and because there may be some battles and some situations where y'all need her. And she's not just going to fall off the face of Terra either. We will be addressing tonight what her character's up to and why she's not present as a player character, etc. So some retooling. This was recent news, but this is all just kind of yesterday, although it's been in the works for a bit. And yeah, I mean, that's life. As I often tell y'all, this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is a story it's an epic tale. It's going to take a long time to unfold. So we got to pace ourselves, and we have to allow ourselves grace and space. And perhaps the tale will go on long enough that she can wrap back around to us. And they'll always, Anika, if you're watching, there's always going to be a spot here for you, baby. Thank you so much, hon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That having been said, I will be portraying her tonight so that we can wrap up a few loose ends. She is not in Austin, so was not able to join us tonight either. And we'll see about how to handle that. Maybe she pops in for an in character, even an out of character thing. We'll just kind of have to see how that develops. So with that rather sad task behind me, I want to, of course, as always, welcome and be appreciative of our sponsors. So we have our first sponsor, Eldritch Foundry, still with us, still going strong, still using that, especially for the public game that I'm running. And there's a figurine that got printed. It looks gorgeous. I want to get it painted, and that one I will. It'll be pretty distinctive. You'll know exactly what character it is because of the physical attributes of that character. That are out there. And then we have Cantrip Candles, which was making, and this bakery situation over here was making us all really hungry. Do you want to tell our faraway friends, Tatiana, a bit about the candle, how that candle experience was toward the end of the session?
Oh yeah, I think we were all hungry, and at least 4 or 3 of you went and
ate afterward. Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
So yeah, it's very delicious.
It filled the room. It filled the room. And that one is Golden Wheat Bakery, yes. I think. So I don't know, because we have another candle, so I'm not sure once we get out of Geramentum if we're going to use another candle, or we'll figure out the logistics of that. But I don't know. If you see me like surreptitiously eating it, it's because of that creature over there. Go check out our kind of, want to call them our sister stream at this point, but Constructed Chaos, folks over there doing good work. I think they're doing a fantasy murder mystery tomorrow, so they stream same time as we do on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays. Their GM Alex, super talented guy, really funny, great energy over there. I'm not sure who out of their core players is going to be there though, so there may be some new faces. I'm usually in the chat. Corey's usually in the chat, or sometimes Justin, our producer, is pretty much always in the chat as well. Speaking of Justin, Justin and I just did an interview where we talked about his experiences as the producer of Darkeport and kind of our one-man army. Lots of good stuff in there about if you want to stream yourself, what were some of the challenges he ran into, how he solved them, what worked, what didn't, that kind of thing. So I feel like that'll be up pretty soon, and I want to just keep kind of doing these interviews. I have several more in mind, and then I may start tracking down some of the other faces that might be familiar to y'all in the actual play space, and that's in the works. So I'll let you know how that goes. And aside from that, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but we just roll on. Oh, so the journal entry tonight is actually going to be the scroll that Anika dictated isn't the right word, but sent me, and that I wrote out. So none of the players has read this yet, and well, that'll all be in character. So it's a little bit odd, but I felt it was appropriate that Catryn would get kind of the last word in her journal entries, because she was the first person to do the journal entries. Actually, even when we weren't filming and we were playing on the living room at my apartment, Donnie, which I know was your favorite.
It's great. I felt like a good yoga mat for 3 hours. Yeah. This table was welcomed. Yeah.
And the chairs.
No,
And the chairs. More so.
And the chairs. Don't mind him. It was great. It was great for hip. It's a great hip opener. You really get in there and get a good stretch.
Like a bag of laid chips.
Playing circles as a little kid, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, for my home games, I've always, for years and years now, I've always played on the grounds, because I like the feel. It's kind of, harkens back to Homo sapiens telling stories around a campfire.
The table was welcome.
At least in my imagination. Okay, so let's go ahead and get with the tales.
The candle of
All right, Donnie. No, Donnie.
Wow, guys, I don't know what's going on. Maybe
Finding you. There you go.
missing Anika.
It'll get there. It is missing.
candles of
There's one candle.
tales.
Got it.
Oh, woo.
Wow.
That was a long
I'm a little
process.
lightheaded, guys. I gotta go.
We may, as Johnny passes out on stream, that would be great. We may maybe trim the wick.
Yeah, I think we'll have
Probably need to trim the wick, but I think it is missing Anika.
Yeah.
She's magic every time. So
She's magic.
every
I know
time.
it's cheating. It's
Yeah, I
cheating.
know,
Like
right? We have to do it like we're mortals.
what's up
I'm
with
just
that?
Waysa.
You're just wasted, please. So I know that I said last time that we were at T minus 36. That is 36 days until the negotiations with Leptis Regium. However, it looks like we're actually still going to just linger on T minus 37 for a while, because we have a number of conversations that have to happen. We have Nilishli waking up next to Griff, on the floor of the common space, which is, I believe, the first night that she spent away from the hut garden.
Uh-huh.
I believe.
It's been above ground.
It's not true.
At least two others.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this unfolds, and we'll see what the pacing is. Well, like I said, yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh, that'll happen in character.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And these are all 95% verbatim what Anika told me, and then there was a little bit of lore that I slipped in there, because there's always more lore. Poor girl. It's probably the real reason why she ran screaming for the hills. All right, Marcus, you meet. So this would be on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the eighth day out from the Ides of Ferra, Ferra, and I believe you were going to meet her on the steps of the temple, or outside of the temple.
Outside in the grass after we're done.
Where you usually do the gathering.
Right.
Yeah.
Full sunlight, nothing shaded on us, so.
Okay. Now, I'll let you do like just a soft minor retcon if you want, because you do have your spiritual duties there going on every morning. Mm-hmm. So that's not really going to be compatible to a cozy thing. So do you want to do it pre-dawn, a little bit pre-dawn? Do you want to do it after the services are over?
Was Catryn no, she wasn't. A little bit after, because it's important that we have the spiritual stuff that goes on, and then after that.
Okay.
It doesn't usually take us too long to have the song plus talk.
Remember, it's become more elaborate now because you have Beacon Andros there.
Is he there now?
He is. He does not come and join you for your what he diplomatically calls informal gathering. Because as long as it's an informal gathering, he can essentially ignore it and not have to take official action. So he doesn't join you for that, but he will smile politely from the steps of the temple if he feels like the gathering is dawdling. But he never, so far, I mean, you've only had him for a day.
Got it.
But so far he hasn't disrupted anything.
Understood.
Hasn't attempted that. Okay.
So pretty much after, it doesn't need to be directly at dawn, just close enough to it.
I assume that you stay for Beacon Andros's services as well. Okay.
Of course.
So
No one does.
they all just leave.
Got stuff I gotta do today. Yeah.
Generally, it'll be like, and after the song, we'll be turning it over to Beacon Andros to give us the spiritual words for the day.
That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Because you said that, you do not need to make an insight check. You see a number of your slowly but growing flock look to you when he's standing after you're finished, greeting the sun, and it's expanded, a good deal beyond your kith and kin now.
Right.
The original 30 some odd people who came from Pollux, from the village of Pollux, and you've probably doubled that number now, and you hadn't realized that it was getting that big, because it would just be one or two people trickling in, and now, but this morning is like the first time that there was a group of 4 that showed up, like an entire family that woke up and came over. Didn't really talk. They looked a little sheepish, but they stayed.
Yeah.
They didn't sing, but they watched and they got in, and you have a feeling they probably will raise their voice next time.
Excellent. I'm going to give my full attention to Andros at this point.
Okay.
So everybody knows that I'm paying attention to him if there's any kind of whatever's outside.
At some point, I will game through what kind of his style of oratory is and that sort of thing. But since this,
It's a honor.
but since this, this conversation has already, waited multiple real life weeks, so I don't want to delay it any longer. As you know, my trademark GM kind of stately pace, storytelling style strikes again. You don't need an insight roll either, because you're quite attuned to humans and their ebbs and flows to know that Catryn isn't super interested in the services. In fact, she stays a good distance away and kind of calmly and coolly waits for the entire thing to break up, almost to make a point to Andros. Obviously, she's well aware he's from Leptis Regium. She's taken one of the biggest, fattest tomes, not a grimoire, but just raw information, and she's openly reading it opposite him.
Hilarious.
And then, because of course, where he comes from, this is a capital crime. And finally, it's over. You also notice, because I know you've really been doing this a lot, really been applying yourself toward this a lot. You notice that several of your extended family members, without really any more pushing or beckoning from you, kind of go about their business, and it's not necessarily to the fields. There's starting to be kind of a diversity of profession and approach and interest as they hit Germentum, which has a lot more going on than Pollux ever did. And she's waiting. She's probably waiting by one of the small creeks.
Soon I'll have
there.
I'll have an individual family dinner with like the heads of the families, like Servilia, me, and so on and so forth, so we can get an idea of where we're actually expanding out to, just so that we all are on the same page.
As the Pollux Mafia continues to grow in Germentum. I love
Marcus.
it. I love it.
Yeah,
Don Marcus, exactly. So she waits, and those uncanny brown eyes, she gives you a measured nod, and then she turns and starts to very slowly walk away, silently inviting you to come alongside her.
I'll go with her.
All right.
Patron?
Marcus, you'll have to excuse me. I have unfinished business in the hut. I've been away. So I hope you don't mind if we walk as we speak.
Why?
Wonderful. I've thought about your question. What's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
Well, I was 14. I saw Abba for the first time at Devotions.
I can see that. Never had that experience myself, but I can appreciate that.
She's looking up the sky. Her face was illuminated by the sun. It was quite breathtaking. Her mother hated me from that point, but you know how it goes.
No, she was always true to form. I remember every moment with Figulus. Actually, literally remember all of it. And when he showed me the Eternal River, it was... Could you describe color to a creature that was blind? Could you describe sound to a person who is born deaf? That's what the Eternal River is. I had always known it, scratching in the dirt. I don't think I've ever told anyone this before, but I remember almost everything.
Oh.
Sometimes I think I remember being born. And it's always been there. But Figulus gave me words and colors and sounds and sensations and a system. I look around and I don't see a Farah mourning. I see the rise of heat along the lines of power that run deep under the city. I see the dance of the sun coming out, juxtaposed with the moon, hiding now behind the horizon. And I can feel them, and I can hear their eternal song. That's why it's called Eternal, Marcus.
Incredible.
And you know, it's funny. 3 moons ago, well, 3 moons ago, I wouldn't have told you any of this. At best, I would have told you to mind your business.
Well, appreciate the confidence.
Yeah, a lot's changed. But it's funny because for all that I can calculate and manipulate the mana, and that I can make it, and as if to make the point, she just gestures and the light dances around her fingers for a moment and then is gone in the breeze. But now I know what a true miracle is, because I've met you. And I think that's probably what you are.
I wouldn't go that far.
It wouldn't be you if you did.
Yeah. What?
Does that help?
I mean, it starts giving me a foundation, of course. But what does it feel like when you draw from it? What does it, when you smell it, what things come to mind?
It's my will to live. It's what I was born, literally born into. I can't imagine a world where I was cut off from the Eternal River any more than you can imagine a world where you had no family. I don't know, maybe you can imagine it. I know you wouldn't want to.
No, it's not. I mean, no.
There's an ugly... And I can't believe I went this way. She turns to her left and she looks at a particular hut. How funny. Huh. And then with the effort, she continues on. To you, you're just on the main road.
Take note of that hut, though. And I'm going to take note of that hut and I'm going to continue walking. I'm not going to actually say anything about it.
It's a slightly catty corner to the healing hall. For the woman who remembers everything, where was I?
We were talking about what it might feel like.
Right.
What emotions it might give you.
But now... it will take me my entire life to understand the river, and probably not even then. I get it now. I actually do get why all of the greats who aren't Figulus kill people, and why they scrap and they scratch and they steal and they try to find ways to cheat death. I understand now. I thought it was so stupid before. I don't want 50 winters or 80 winters I want 800 winters. To see it and to know it and to feel it. Its satisfaction, its accomplishment, its safety, its approbation, its affection, its meaning. That's what it is. That's what it feels like. I guess that's what it feels like when you're with Alba.
More or less, yeah. And a promise for the future.
Make a persuasion check.
15? No, I'm sorry. 13.
Her eyes narrow a moment. I've probably said too much. And she pauses. She pauses as you're walking by the healing hall, not yet at the gate. Why did you ask me?
I'm trying to understand divinity on a larger level.
And you think I have some kind of answers to that? I'm a will worker, Marcus. I'm not whatever you are.
You don't have to be what I am, but you are what you are. And I've been thinking about the Great River a bit, not really knowing anything about it. But there is a point when I've had power from Quailethorn given to me directly, and I understood instinctually that there was only so much I could take.
How can you know that?
Quailethorn guides.
How can you know that? How do you know that that's the source of your power?
I have faith. I mean, everything I've done, everything I've seen, I can't do that as a man. But I do feel his presence. I feel it. Like when we were on the wall, I felt it then, and I'll feel it even now to this day. When I'm doing what I do, I understand it ain't coming from me.
What if it's not Quailethorn? What if it's something else? What if it's just another expression of the Eternal River?
It could be. I'm not going to say it's not, but I believe that it's Quailethorn, and that's enough for me, for now. But more of it, it's just, when we were talking about the Eternal River, even just briefly, I had to wonder where it came from, where Quailethorn's power came from. It kind of made me feel like, if it's anything like you or me, where we can only take so much before we burn ourselves or just turn into a husk, it kind of feels to me that it's the wellspring of the gods, where they draw their power from.
I don't know anything about gods. I don't really want to.
Understood.
I've had no use for them. They didn't help my mother. They've never helped me.
They guided you to Neas. And he's increased your understanding tremendously, has he not?
Make another persuasion check.
Natural 20.
You see something pass behind her eyes that in the moment you can't quite read. If you sit with it later, perhaps you'll be able to. And you can almost feel as she allows you a glimpse into some memory. It wasn't Quailethorn who set my life in motion. Whether or not he had any business doing it, I'll leave to the philosophers, but I'm not complaining. He knew who I was, Marcus, because he made me in crystal remembrance. Through the force of Zed, he made me. I don't know if he actually caused my birth, but he changed the circumstances of it forevermore. And I'm grateful. I'm damn grateful. He also... Now I know what everyone's always on about, how Wesa gets them to say things they don't really want to. She's never really had that effect on me. I care about her a great deal, but you're a compelling figure. I don't think you understand. I know you don't understand what you are or the place that you're going to play in this era's history. I've read enough to know there are moments and times, peoples and pivot points, and sometimes things can go on for hundreds of winters and nothing changes until it does. You're one of those. A twined soul. I don't think that was Naeus' doing. I think that was the Eternal Rivers. As crazy as that sounds. I used to think the river was just a power source, and how stupid that was. How shallow. It does have... It's not a mind, but it absolutely has a flow. Adrian... Enough.
One more question, I'll leave it be.
You're at the gates.
Because on the battlement, when we were fighting, I called upon Quailethorn to fill whoever's in that room with strength, with courageousness, or whatever it is. Did you feel it? And if so, what did it feel like to you?
I don't believe so. But to be fair, I was very focused on what I was doing.
Understood.
Weaving the tightest glamour I ever have, all in another creature's mind.
Well, I saw some of the handiwork. It was quite stunning.
Ave, advisor. Oh, Ave, a moment. Please don't open it yet.
Are you leaving?
The hut?
Oh, of course. I want to take some time with you and actually tell you about my experiences as we bartered for.
All right. Do you mind stepping out?
Give me an hour or two. Now we'll take about an hour or two. Depending on how fast you ride, you might be really fast. It's not much to tell, but
I'm fast.
I'm sure.
So do you give her a full and true accounting?
Full and true accounting
of your
as
experiences.
promised.
Okay. Okay.
Including any questions that she might have, like how the nettles felt when it came.
Oh yeah, no, she's gonna be quite
voracious,
thorough in all of that, and as meticulous as ever.
Yeah.
You know that she's writing it down. There are moments where you feel like she's writing it down more out of a courtesy to you than of necessity, or perhaps a courtesy for someone else. But write she does voluminously. By the time she's done, she has a mini essay on Marcus's subjective experiences.
I'll fill you in as it goes along. I kind of want you to be the one that actually takes all this stuff down. I don't trust much other people to be able to say definitively this is what happened and that is what happened without changing it to meet their own ends.
Do you?
I do. You've always been pretty forthright. Never had reasons to doubt you.
It's funny, Marcus. I always assumed only chosen could have twined souls. At least one person in that dyad had to be chosen. I wonder if that's true, though. I know how it worked. For myself and Adrian, I'm figuring that out. Even listening to you has given me some insight into what the mechanism was. I can't live my life on blind faith. I can't, and I won't. I have to know how that worked. What allowed that man, that brilliant, considerate, idiotic man, to come into my psyche to see the most intimate moments of my life. And with advantage, Randy, because at this point you've been, go ahead and make one last persuasion roll.
With advantage, thank God.
Yeah.
I got a 1 and a 13, so 17 on the...
Okay. And I'm also factoring in the nat 20 previous. I had an extraordinary experience. Do you believe in visions?
I do. I ain't had one, but I believe that if Quailethorn wanted to give me one, he would. It was within his power.
I wouldn't doubt that. There's a school, it's called a college of willworking, a particular type. I'm an illusionist. Although I've begun my studies in, it's called divination. But before that, long before that, as a child still, I always thought it was a dream, but I guess I understand now it was a vision. I knew exactly what Adrian would look like. I knew who he was the second I laid eyes on him in Pollux, if I'm honest with myself. I even knew in my bones what he was to me. I just couldn't stand it in the moment. I'm figuring more of that out. She looks over to the door. Came here somehow. Not really, but in spirit, I don't think it was conscious. And it wasn't him, it was him when we were the first time he's at the age that he was, the first time that he saw me. Twined souls. What a thing.
He's the same age as you, right? Somewhere around there?
2 winters older.
2 winters older. Huh.
Almost exactly, though.
There's something I noticed with Quailethorn and the gifts that he's given me, is that when I need it the most, when it's vital for something to happen, I reach and he reaches back. It might be something similar to you. If you both have a connection to the river, if you both have a connection in some way, maybe you were both reaching for each other without even knowing it.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
I wish I had met you sooner.
I'm not dead yet, neither are you. There'll still be more things in the future for us.
I plan on being around. How does Publius say it? Don't plan on croaking anytime soon.
Sounds right as rain to me.
That's considering the things she's been through. Right. When you see Wesa, would you send her out? Nothing urgent.
Of course. Oh.
Vale.
Vale.
Oh, I better let you out.
Take a walk around the hut. It's so crazy. I'd have so many more children if I could have done that.
All right. As this is going on, I'm gonna say Nilishli, unlike the typical thing for her, she sleeps in a bit because you're usually right up with dawn or thereabouts. So on that T-37 that you had that you had left for the fellowship for some research to occur, etc. Titus, was there anything in particular you were doing with that day?
No, just prepping everything, ship, all that.
Okay, fair enough. Merrick, I know where you're spending your time, and probably a good chunk of how.
I bet I do want to visit the keep before I leave, though, I think.
Okay. Anything in particular?
I'm going to go visit Jerem.
Oh, good. All right.
It's a little it connects to what we just had the conversation on and a few other things.
Okay. A pretty low-key day. And as the day wears on, Nilishli, you wake up and it's a little weird because it's already lighter than what you're used to. And you do not see Griff next to you.
Which what? He what? Okay.
He did what? He left?
The common tent is nearly empty. You have a few stragglers. You recognize some faces, but you don't know anyone's name from last night because they're all out and gone. And most of the people in here now would be people from out of town who are waiting for one ship or another.
Mm-hmm. So, can I ask a question? Actually,
Sure.
I meant to ask this
Of course.
before. So, remember that slaver ship?
Yes.
Is that still in the harbor?
Yeah, that's the one we're taking.
That's the one we're taking?
It's been repurposed.
It's been repurposed.
Yes.
Renamed.
And renamed.
The Storm's Mare.
And would I have gotten any information about there was a key for a room that I had entered, which you guys have already kind of gotten in there and you totally gutted it?
Yeah, there was a lady who came with it. It was like her private effects before she left.
Okay.
Lady Julia Zosh. Yes, that one.
Okay. Yeah, so then I'm going to wake up slowly and...
Which is unusual for you.
Which is definitely unusual for me. And look around the tent and try to see if I see Griff.
Okay.
There's a subtle feeling of maybe a little bit of vulnerability in the fact that he is not here in this tent room. But get dressed and walk out of the tent.
Okay.
And I'm going to scan the horizon for looking for if I see Griff anywhere.
Okay.
And I guess I'll ask if I do.
Make a perception check as you kind of orient yourself.
Do we need that for the map?
Yes, that'd be nice. Orient ourselves.
Ooh. I'm gonna say that is a 3.
Okay. You walk out.
So many numbers.
You walk out into the blazing sun. It's not really blazing, but to you, it's kind of intense, and you're quite taken aback for a moment. And kind of you get the spots in your eyes. You're looking around. Mm-hmm. Hi, Silver Lady, and so somebody rushes by you.
Hi.
And you're seeing a busy but slightly subdued Geramentum on a getting to hot Farah day, which is early summer. But no sign of Griff.
Okay. At that point, no sign of Griff. I'm going to just stretch slowly.
Okay.
Maybe swinging Winter's Harvest behind me and kind of cracking my upper thoracic. And there's going to be something...
You limber up.
Yeah, limber up. I do feel called, and I know that we are getting on this ship that...
Dawn tomorrow.
Yeah, dawn tomorrow, but I do feel called to actually... I mean, Griff is nowhere near. I would have loved to go with him, but there's something in me that's feeling called to go into the belly of that ship again.
Ooh. Okay.
I know this is a left turn, but
No. I know, I love it.
been on her mind. So, is it quite easy walking distance for me to get there? Do I know where the ship is now?
You know the general whereabouts. So you have the commons, kind of almost dead center of the city, not quite, and then the ship is
over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start making my way over there, just as I walk, scouring the people in the streets to see if I can.
If you happen to run into him.
If I happen to run,
yeah.
I'm definitely would love to run into him, but I'm pretty set on going into this.
Okay.
This ship. Something's calling me.
All right. You see some ewes over at the public archery range. And so it's a long-running joke in our game. It can't just be ewes, it's always utes. And you realize that that you remember, how do I want to say this? That there was a 12-month-old girl who was in the healing hall a while back, and you see her running by, and you're like, where did I run into her, or what? Where did that come from? And you're trying to place because you've seen her around the city, and today though she's much more focused, much more disciplined. You see her at the archery range, just tagging the targets there. As you go by. She's a Kuan girl. She has beautiful mahogany skin, dark brown hair, almost running to black, and just kind of an untamed air to her, where she doesn't yet know the horrors that are out there, but she's coming into her own strength. And you pass by there. She pauses and she watches you for a minute, and then, almost as if she wants to show you, She carefully takes aim, fires, slight arc, right in. Wow, damn, nice. She's the only girl there right now, and she's one of the younger people there too. And as you're going, make a last perception roll. It's a non-griff related, so I'll let it be something different than a 3 potentially.
Okay, something happened. It must have not moved at all. It's another 5. What is it? A perception roll?
Yeah, perception.
3 again.
Okay. All right. We're just getting it out, baby. We're just getting it out. So we do.
Griff was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
We do.
I just couldn't even see him.
It's like eventually tap your shoulder.
We do know, we do know that you always we always roll really badass in like the last 15 minutes,
That's
Allie.
true.
So if you're gonna get jumped, that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
And I do like my cliffhangers, so it's kind of beneficial to you. You're going by. There may be. We'll say there's some nuances that aren't really present for you.
So nicely phrased.
You continue. You go under the statue of Julius Metellus. Some of the washerwomen, because clothes need washing, no matter what. They're because you would not normally be in this area of the city at this time of day, which is like prime time for them, kind of late morning. So they're looking at you and kind of looking at each other. There's some talk.
Just gonna nod my head.
Okay. Fortunately, you're blissfully unaware of most of it. You just acknowledge them. So we will skip over all of that.
That'll be useless.
Yeah. And you get to, well, she's having a toddler experience. You're
Benefits of being
I'm
focused.
drowning, help! And you're just like, all right.
You do go by the keep, and even in your current very focused state, it is a little weird to see the keep just barren, like denuded. There are no archers up on that inner wall. The gate's ajar. The inner door to the keep proper is shut, but there's just a level of security that's not possible right now, or at least that they've decided is not practical right now, of sending people back and forth and back and forth. So finally you get to that inner door to the harbor, and the guards eye you a little nervously, but you're known now. After the Battle of the Broken Tower, you're definitely known as one of the heroes at Germentum. So finally they do nod to you, and it's prime time for business right now, so they don't have to open. It's open right now. You walk out onto the sandy beach. You hear the cry of the seagulls. You smell the sea air. There's a little bit of a sting to it. The crunch of the soft sand under your boots, and you're looking for the renamed series now, the Storm's Mare.
Yeah, that's where I'm on.
Okay.
Too, where I'm packing. Yeah.
No, you are. Yeah.
Okay.
You absolutely are. This is like I said. This is, you're coming about 3-4 torches after dawn. So this is you're trying to slam out as much as you can before, and you even catch because remember you even engaged in combat on this thing, so you know what it looks like, and the wharfs aren't that big. You see the impressive figure of Titus. You can always pick him out with the flaming hair and the
Doing ropes. Yeah.
and the long, powerful build. And I assume you're just kind of bypassing the fishermen and all the different stuff.
Obviously, with this perception roll, I'm.
Well, unless you're intentional about something, Allie. Unless you want to find something before you get there.
No, I'm just being. I'm being pretty intentional with my walk to the ship.
Okay.
Is Titus on the ship?
Yeah, I would call out.
Yeah.
I would obviously see it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see her.
Nilishli! What do we all do pleasure?
Pleasure is mine.
You're getting closer, and then you see the pier. You remember from episode 9. Yeah, you see the pier that Lady Julia almost had an incident on and eventually did.
Faint memory of a chair that's no longer there.
Yeah, yeah. Just a little impression of her derriere when she slammed down on the ground. So you hop up and skitter on up the rope ladder. Assuming you want on the ship.
I want on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you here?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Titus. Good morning. I'm like scattered.
No, for sure.
Good
For sure.
morrow,
Little
good morrow
space.
to you. I was wondering if, at all possible, I could go into the bow of the ship.
Absolutely. We'll be on this for the next few days, so it'd be better if you became more familiar with it.
Aye.
Do you need my help?
I don't think so.
Just knock 3 times up, and I'll come down if you do.
Okay. Sounds good.
There's a sturdy-looking older man, but who still has that iron gray to him. So he hasn't lost the strength of youth, just largely the beauty of it. Probably some reaction time too. And he's capably directing folks. He accedes to you, Donnie, but Captain Drusus you found is quite competent, and he's going to be your acting captain for the trip. You are a capable navigator now, but you don't have his 2 decades of experience out on the.
And have we known him for a long time? Is he like Old Empire Kuind, or is he just a Makarian sailor?
He, with a name like Drusus, he comes somewhere from the Old Empire. Make it just kind of in general, not just for him. Make a quick persuasion, and let me see how well you've been palling around with these guys. I feel like it's something you could do pretty well. So pretty low DC.
Yeah, it's a 12.
12. Okay, high enough. So you have your captain, Captain Drusus, and he actually gave you a weird one. He told you that he was originally from Spes.
Spes.
Yep. Which is, of course, the annihilated village that no longer exists that Figulus Neus founded with his wife. His first mate is of a type of people you've never seen before. Is the first mate Bidzil, Bidzziil. Looks kind of Kuind, but the bone structure around the eyes is different. The clothing's a little different, and what he's speaking is definitely not Ilocana, or sorry, Walag. It's definitely not Walag. Their native tongue. No, not that either. It's one of those languages that until recently Germentum wouldn't have had, but your harbor is growing by the moon, and he's come from someplace you've never been before. Doesn't talk a whole lot. Prefers to speak to mainly the captain and the second mate, but is pretty damn efficient. There's a reason the captain has this crew with him. And then the second mate, Vibius, you also know is from Leptis Secunda, not Regium, so a little bit further up the river. And he seems to have no interest in going back there anytime soon. So he's like, oh, yeah, we're going north? Great. And
yep, north, always north.
Those are your folks. No point of order for the player, and also Titus would know this. So it looks like a full-size trireme would be 30 crew and 170 rowers.
Wow.
So obviously, and this is something to bear in mind, you do have roughly that 30 crew. I'm going to say because of the model that we have,
we're relying on the wind a lot.
This trireme, exactly, yeah, you know where I'm going. This trireme is a little smaller than a historical trireme, but it is quite agile for all of that, and you're going to be relying on the wind. It doesn't mean that you can't row.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be at speed.
Oh, for sure.
With rowing, that's going to be more maneuvering. Okay. Anyway, so you see, Nilishli, you see all this activity going on the deck, folks securing things, folks, they're done with mending sails now, double checking, triple checking sails. Right now, the second mate, actually, one more roll. Make a perception or insight roll for Titus, Donnie.
It's a 2.
Okay.
But yeah.
So no.
So 1.
All right. Okay. There is a detail about the way that this crew functions you do not notice yet. And
all right.
They just seem to be pretty efficient.
You guys know what they're doing.
And I'll say of...
Why is that one sharpening a knife and looking at me?
Of this crew, so Wesa, your newly appointed advisor, you got about 20 of them are... Basically what they decided to do is leave their ship here at the dock and upgrade, and then you got another 10 or so from fishermen, from there's one there's one ex-slaver who was a hell of a sailor, and he wanted to come because he knew he could be of use here. I need to look at that list because I actually did write all of them down, but there was one in particular. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Jay's starting to rub off on his hand, I'm assuming.
What's that?
Right. I said the Jay's starting to rub off on his hand.
Maybe, yeah. And so you do just about have 30 crew, actually, believe it or not. You've managed to get that. So as long as the wind is kind, you will be able to make this trip.
Beautiful.
The men who have not been to Geramentum before, you can tell them immediately because they are staring at her something fierce, like not really knowing what to make of her, some of them backing up, some of them staring in awe, one or two of them like, "Whew, yeah."
How about you look over there? Just kind of like, he will kill you. I've seen him down. Just immediately start building up the legend of Nilishli. Like, ooh, sorry, eat a man before. Just rip the head clean off. Start telling all these stories so they just leave her alone.
I will let you make either a subtle persuasion or intimidation, or you can make at a lower DC, because it is not something commoners can do. You may make a test against your dignitas.
Ooh, no, I'll stick with persuasion.
Okay.
That is a dirty 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
You take them in. The ballad. I will note that the legend of Nilishli has begun.
Going down there to do a blood sacrifice.
Yeah. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nilishli, not so much on the Lears. As soon as he starts in, it doesn't take long for to spread, and pretty soon you're butchering a teeny chieftain out in the fields.
Before I descend into the porthole, I'm going to look at them and just go,
okay.
Yeah.
That's for me.
And God, she won't kill me, but I can't say anything for you, blood. Just keep telling him like, watch your shit.
Well, I know you're a lord. She calls you by your name.
Let's just say she's a little unique. I was there the day she was born. Basically, was the first person she's ever met.
Dominique, that can't be right.
Let me tell you the story. Yeah, I'm gonna huddle him up and just be like, yeah.
And ironically enough,
she killed 70 Arbos. Like, and I'm just telling the story about, just making it more and more crazy.
As these things go, the one point that they do not believe is the truth.
Yeah.
They do not believe that she just erupted from the soil, because everyone knows that's impossible.
For sure.
Okay.
So
you come up with a better story. Yeah. Come with a better idea where she's from. Yep. Perfect.
You descend Nilishli, and it still takes you aback a little bit how just a few steps and you're in like this different world where it's dark, there's a gentle rocking, there is a coolness to it right now, despite the fact that it's Farah, that was absent before, and it doesn't take you too long. Actually, in your current state, maybe it does. Yeah, actually, that remains a mystery.
Which way is down? Yeah.
Yeah, you're not sure, but just something feels quite different from the last time you were down here, other than the fact that it's now far more organized. You see someone with a real flair for efficiency has got crates stacked to the side. They're lashed, secured, so even if you're rocking, you'll survive any but the worst storm. Because you're going to be absent so many rowers, really a whole bunch of the oars have been pulled up and in so that they're not dragging or detracting or threatening to fall out. And those are also neatly stacked, some of them even lashed, but enough still that there are at least 30 odd pair out, so that every hand can get on them if it comes to it. And if you remember the layout, you have the main belly, and then actually behind the stairs is where the door to formerly the captain's cabin is. I'll ask you later, Donnie, about where everybody's going to sleep and like that. But and do you still have the key? Who did? I feel like you gave that key to somebody.
I think it was left in the bow of the ship, or was it given to Titus?
I think
somebody had that key. Oof.
I think it was Olivia.
See, you're getting me. I'm usually
Olivia or Catryn.
I'm usually pretty good on the details, even ones like that. But I think you're going to get me on that. I think if I had to guess, I would say Catryn. But somebody's going to go back and look at that scene and correct me. I'm sure. I'm going to say you don't have the key though. yourself right now.
I don't have the key?
No.
I didn't write it down. Okay.
My inventory.
Damn. Yeah, no, you're right. That should be in there.
But you know what? But it makes sense to me that she wouldn't even think about that. She
Okay.
would have just come down.
It's key.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, first thing is
Just swaying. under your feet.
swaying. I'm feeling into the energetics of what I had felt there last time and noticing if there's still a smell of sweat and blood and if there is still they can gut it and repaint it and
Right.
clean it, but is there
Right.
still an essence of death or suffering in the bow of that ship that I sense?
Make 2 rolls for me. Make one. I'll be nice and say investigation.
Great.
Come on, baby, give me 4.
We'll beat a 5.
14.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's on one level, and then make a religion check on the second one.
Come on.
Yeah, I knew it. That's gonna be a 23.
23.
Nice.
Okay. Point of order, Allie. I don't think you were here when all the variant humans, so everybody, basically all the human characters got an additional skill. Because when we created these characters, I held a skill back from everybody, which I don't think you were here that day. Do y'all remember?
I definitely didn't get another skill.
Okay, you would remember that. So, pick a skill that you feel like it needs to be something that she would have been practicing with or would have been growing into. And do you know what it is right now? Like
What are my options?
on
skill
that
sheet.
on that list.
Oh, spell, you said?
Skill.
So this is like
Any of those.
acrobatics, animal
Oh,
handling.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think she'd been working on...
And you don't have to decide right now, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle before y'all just embark on the journey.
I have 2 possible, so I can
Okay,
do it.
okay.
I can do it later.
Okay. So with the 14 investigation, you look around, and they've made a significant effort to cleaning this place, to cleansing it. There are a few spots where the blood was just so ingrained and soaked in. The gods only know how many winters that you'd have to literally just gouge the wood out and replace the wood. But they have largely cleansed it of evidence of what the ship was used for before. Actually, quite a good job. You don't know who did that or when or what, but it happened. For you, because of what you are and how you were created, on a spiritual level, because you got a 23, right? Yeah. So if you remember that scene, it was right after a combat. You were pretty hyped. Titus was having his potential moral event horizon moment up there about murdering all of them. And
Don't like slavery.
no, it's true. It's just that takes us to a different place. Not even necessarily saying it was wrong, just takes us to a different place.
For sure.
And there was a lot going on. This is a wholly different energy. And you realize that there is some sort of underlying excitement to the men up there. There's beginning to be the beginnings of, and this word, your character may not have heard this word before, but she'll know it instinctually. There's the beginnings of an esprit de corps, of a fighting spirit that's starting up, but it's not so much fighting as an adventurous spirit. You don't know if any of the crew somehow got wind of where you might be going, but maybe they did, or maybe it's just something about the city and about the prospects of going into the north, into the unknown north, that has them, that's captured them, but it's there. So in that context, there's a sour note to everything that stands out, much clearer than it ever would have, than you ever possibly could have in that moment where you yourself were shedding blood and all of that. And that there's no amount of cleansing, of physical scrubbing and scraping is going to get rid of that. And there's something about this this space, and you can see both the restored space and then the current situation. Sorry, the restored space and then the situation that you walked into those many moons ago. And you can kind of still feel her, whatever that presence was. You can kind of still feel her echoes here.
Okay. I've thought about this a lot. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to do something that's going to seem crazy, but this checks out. Okay.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
I'm going
for
to
it.
pull out my knife from the side.
Okay.
My holster here. I'm going to gently open my hand.
Yeah, there's some of your silver blood wells up.
I'm going to let it fall on the floor.
Not so easy to cut your skin as a human skin, but
No,
yes,
it's,
but you
it's even hard for me.
do.
to do.
Yeah, yeah, but you do.
And I'm going to let the blood fall on the floor, and I'm going to say, Mistress, are you here?
Whew. Okay.
I know you weren't expecting this.
No, I love this. I love it. Go rogue.
The
Go
legend
go.
of Nilishli
Go rogue,
is
Nilishli.
so real.
The legend of Nilishli continues.
The ship rocks.
Found silver blood on the floor. Yeah. Oh God.
What's your intent? What intent do you infuse your blood with when you're dropping it?
I have, it is no harm, there's no malice. I have questions.
Question.
God, okay, that relationship would be... Okay. So, your blood just kind of starts running down as you would expect, and then it splits off into 3 different directions.
That's so scary. Okay.
And all 3, one of them keeps going down as you would expect, and then the other 2 go underneath one of the rowers' benches.
Ew, it's so scary. Okay. I totally did.
It's like the ring.
Okay. Okay, cool.
God.
All right,
Remember, kids, make good choices with your adventurers. Yeah.
Okay, so as it splits into 3 directions, do I hear or feel anything?
You have her attention.
Okay. Mistress, I have questions for you.
Your palm throbs, and you can feel there's a tug.
Okay. Okay. Do I feel, so I still have her attention?
Make another religion check. I know you rolled a 23. Make another religion check.
I think the ship's got ghosts. Yeah. This is great.
What was that? Is that 20?
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
She crit.
I think I did. I think I crit, but I rolled it.
What you
I'm
rolled
so
it?
nervous.
I saw it.
I'm so nervous. I'm getting
20.
rashy. This is so
Like, why are you
stressful.
looking?
Okay.
You pull out your
Wow.
Ouija board. Yeah.
I'm so scared to do this.
When it comes to dark
palm-
magic, good rolls.
Your
right?
palm really starts throbbing, and you start to feel your blood almost want to pull itself out and fall onto the deck. Are you going to spread? Are you going to spread the webbing of your hand out and allow it to, or are you going to close your fist, or something else?
I'm going to close my fist, but drip the blood down onto
And like
the deck.
dig in with your fingernails into your
But I
flesh.
control it.
Okay. That was a nat 20. Okay. So here's what happens. More of it beads and beads, and you know it should, the surface tension should be overcome and it should fall, but it just keeps welling and welling and welling until you have this stupidly big drop of silver blood clinging to the side of your
Like water in space. This is awesome.
And then finally, Allie, it just gets sucked in, and you start to smell something in here. You smell blood, and you smell pain, and you smell fear emanating from underneath the bench the bench that your 2 rivulets of blood initially went under.
Okay.
You also, even though you try to control it, you also take a point of damage as the blood rips out of your body.
I would.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Spooky.
So natural 20, do I feel that I now have her attention? Still?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a presence here that is not the Dread Mother. But it is a deep primordial being.
I'm going to...
And you do, there's a part of you where it clicks that Roth is only the name that men have given her. It's far older than language. Far, far older than the quintessential human magic of words.
I'm going to ask...
You feel something stir in your gut.
What do I feel stir in my gut? It's like a poop sensation?
A ripple, a ripple of your organs being toyed with.
Okay.
So it is a poop situation.
It is a poop sensation.
We'll see.
Really?
We'll see.
Hot snakes.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm going to say this. Mistress, I come with no ill intent. I have a question. It might be beneficial to both.
It gets darker in that hall. And you know instinctively that she will not answer you under the light of day.
Do I feel like she wants me to go somewhere else, or that she wants me to...
You're going to have to wait until it's dark.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Remember, it's mid-morning. And even in this oddly, consecrated space, consecrated, and I'm using the word loosely,
Oh my god.
it's, it can't completely block out all the activity that's going on, the beehive of activity that's going up. And in fact, almost to like underscore that, a couple of the men, all right, watch out, coming through. And they start tromping down with the trunk, with provisions and provisions.
I'll look at them like irritably.
Okay. They don't even notice.
I'm gonna close my eyes then as they kind of walk down.
Okay. You can go deeper into the space if you want to.
Is there a darkness back there?
If they were paying attention, they would realize it's gotten awful dim down in the bowels of the ship here. You can get right up to the bench if you want to.
Is the bench still in light, or is it submerged in darkness?
It should be in light.
It's basically twilight.
I mean, the shadows are pretty damn thick over there, Ellie.
I'm gonna slowly walk closer. I'm not gonna fully enter into that space.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, well, are you interested?
Casual conversation.
Your rolls have been really good. I'm trying to think how your character would interpret this sensation. You feel like almost a little tug, like sit your ass down.
Which I do.
Okay. You sit on the bench. You can feel this little space that you've created, that you've willed into being invited, perhaps even. And then you wait. All right, that's where we'll pause on that.
Okay. I'm terrified, but
you're holding that space, right?
Yeah.
You're holding that intent. Okay.
vortex.
Yep.
Love it.
And you do have a 20 con, so you can put that energy out and hold that up literally the entire day if you need to.
I'm so excited. I love
Dark
this
God communicator.
Eventually, word reaches Wesa that Catryn had wanted to see her. Mm-hmm. So
Would have left it at the pastry hut.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
On the way back from the hut, I would have stopped by the hut, see how Octavia was doing, and dropped off the word that she was looking for.
I'll remind you, Randy, that the system, although the Myrmidons were absolutely decimated and worse, the page system is still largely intact.
Okay.
And in Germentum that they've set up. When Titus Invictus, when the old lion left, he did not take any of the pages. They left all of the use behind. So unfortunately, some of the older pages are now getting recruited potentially into the Myrmidon. So is there, before you respond and seek Catryn out, is there anything that you want to do, Waisa, in this day? You know that you're leaving at dawn the next day.
Well, I've been trying to get to those vials that my dear friend Marcus gave.
You have been, haven't you?
Yeah, just haven't had the time.
Well,
enough blood this session. We're gonna have more blood.
No, it's just going to be a blood. It's just going to be the blood session.
Girlies like their blood.
No. I mean, you can get to at least one, maybe more of them.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that's on Waisa's mind. She'd like to just spend some solid time meditating on what she receives.
Okay. You are finished. One of the good things about the bakery is that you're finished with your workday essentially earlier than anybody else in the city who's at a quote-unquote profession.
Mm-hmm.
So probably by the time all of these shenanigans are going on the Storm's Mare, you're seeing to the you're seeing to the last of your customers, last of your visitors. Bye bye, and some of the more formal ones, valet advisor, and some of them are like really tickled pink. And how is it being? He just did that. The Lord just did that. That's amazing for you. Mm. You know, like one of the good wives there's. That's really amazing.
Thank you so much.
Well, you're the kindest person that we know, Waisa, so yeah, no, it's good. I approve. Not that, the Lord needs my approval for anything, but he does if he wants clean small clothes. She's one of the washerwomen. And somebody's got to do the washing.
Oh, 100%. I can barely even cook, let alone that.
But finally you bid adieu to the last of them, and you don't know what you're going to do with Maya, because you can hear her trying to be sneaky.
Mm.
And you can hear the click, click, click of the Leptis Terrier paws.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that she wants to get onto your altar again.
Since she's been doing this, I've had like a broom around that I just...
You just sweep her. You sweep her away. Okay.
She knows.
She does. As soon as you even start going to the broom, yeah. she just goes away. So your altar is the main target, and then the other like strong secondary target is behind the counter, because she knows she's not dumb, and she knows where Publia used to keep the treats.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll stand up on her legs and try to see if there's anything up in the counter. But
nice try.
I don't feel like you're keeping things like that back there anymore.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Not how I was raised.
Left in treats.
So, you said, which vial do you attend to first?
Can you remind me?
2 of them were the same. One had an X on it, and that was the big giant dude that we were fighting on the...
Actually, Randy, just in case our faraway friends didn't catch that episode, will you give just like a quick 30-second?
Sure. Right after the battle, Marcus went up to the ramparts where we were fighting and got 3 different vials of blood. One was from the big giant guy that Merrick and I and Julio was fighting up on top.
And Nilishli for a while too.
For a bit, you're right. Another one was from one of the bigger grunts, and then one was from the tiny little goblin-like ones. Like the tiny little ones. Mm. The one that was the leader has an X scratched onto the top. Mm-hmm. For classification purposes.
The other one you don't know. Yeah, those could be the other one. So, do you want to go with one of the mystery vials, or do you want to start with the X?
like, let's make a deal.
Are you treasure hunting or what?
Well, I would really, I know what I want of the mystery ones. I know which one I want.
Right, sure.
So I probably would go with the mystery ones because I have an agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you grab them, what's your intent? Do you want the smaller one, or do you want the robust rank and file trooper?
I want the smaller one.
Smaller one?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
one I know least about, I feel.
Okay. So you root around, you take your best guess. You do have a pretty crazy passive perception. So you're just kind of guided by your instinct as you go up. Sitting at your altar, a short lifetime of practice, you're no stranger to dropping into meditative states. That's no problem. But you're trying to prepare yourself and reach into that most receptive place, because this is going to be something you've never tried before. This is so far after the fact. While the blood is pumping, you can do this because you've already done it before. But this will be a new one.
True.
You don't know. So how do you mentally prepare yourself for that?
I imagine myself surrounded in my space, protected, grounded, and I put out a prayer, an intention of receiving what I need to receive, and whatever is not meant for me being discarded immediately and swiftly. And
That's good.
And I also, the vial that I do pick, I smell it first. See if I'm completely rejected by it, or
Okay.
there's an opening.
Make an investigation. It's technically a smell check, so you have proficiency with it.
Smell check.
It's a crit.
Oh, you got a 20? Okay.
Go, girl.
Flower to the sun.
Okay.
When it's about blood, they get 20s.
Yeah, no, seriously, Corey. That's pretty funny. That's the theme for tonight.
Blood.
A bloodletting.
Oh, wow.
Okay. You smell it, and you're really preparing yourself. You've dropped into that liminal space. You've really prepared yourself for quite the journey. And what happens is that as soon as that scent, that aroma hits you, you find that you probably don't even need to taste it. At least with this one, for whatever reason, you're syncing up with it. You get a strong image of the small creatures that were harrying you and trying to kick you and bite you and scratch you while you were fighting. And let's see this one. Marcus, when you were collecting it, you were down. Yeah, it couldn't have been could not have been one of the ones that actually made it into the tower that you were fighting because of where you got it from. Okay, so this would have been one of the ones outside. What are you looking for? What are you honing in on?
I'm trying to understand their intent, their consciousness, why are they partnering with the Utini like this?
So, because you specifically said as the player that you're swiftly discarding things that are not meant for you or, irrelevant, you could easily get just bombarded with information as you open yourself up to this. This is some deep, this is like literal blood magic. And kind of what your archetype of chosen was meant to do, in a sense. Still a mystery.
Who is she?
So who is she? So there's a whole lot that you discard and that you let run through you. But you see that this creature's... You feel an almost religious awe for the larger Utini. And you know for a certainty now that this is all visual and bodily evidence to the contrary. This is some type of Utini. Even though all of the Utini that you've ever heard about or run into that you knew to be Utini were on average larger than humans, and some of them are massive, like you saw, like in the multi-ton range, like the one that almost put paid to Marcus. But this is Utini as well, and you can feel its devotion, its reverence, and its complete trust in in the larger, stronger Utini. To the point where even when it was crushed, because with the 20, I'm going to say you even get a sense of what the final second was, what you didn't know you could do, and you don't know if you could deliberately find that again. That what you don't feel is what you absolutely would in almost any human, which is the fear or the resentment or the whatever. Like, it feels like its life was well spent. And you blank. You kind of teared up for a second, not necessarily because you were sad, but just the sheer emotion and amount of spirit running through you for a second, and kind of recenter yourself. You don't feel spent yet, but that was a significant endeavor for you to do. And you have the other 2 vials, the one that Marcus demarked with the X, and then the other one, which you now know would be the robust rank and file trooper.
I don't think I could do the X right now.
Okay.
Energetically.
Okay.
So I'm gonna kind of like shake off, eat a treat, honestly.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Utini blood, treat. Utini,
pretty much.
Yeah, dried Utini blood, treat, sure.
It's your ginger.
Little ginger, yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna kind of do the same thing I did, just my intent to understand. I really want to understand the mechanics of this society and like what's driving them. So I got that information from this one.
No, most of what you're going to get is of a more emotional nature. It doesn't mean that you can't get other information, but that's where you're drawing it from.
I can interpret that.
Okay. All right.
Interpret that. So and I'll start again with smelling before tasting the second vial.
Okay. Go ahead and make another roll.
Dun dun dun.
Hey.
And this is investigation?
Investigation. We'll see how the investigation goes, and then it could become some other things, probably insight.
It's 22.
22.
I'm just really good at...
No, you're really, really good at this. With that same roll, what would that be for insight, Tatiana?
For insight, that would be
Even higher,
26.
Yeah, even higher. Okay. So for this one, you do wind up needing to taste it.
Okay.
And it takes you longer, takes you deeper, but you... So for the investigation roll, like you're interpreting the different nuances. This is almost vampiric. You're interpreting the different nuances and sub flavors inside of the blood itself. And then for the insight roll, you're connecting with it empathically once you've interpreted it.
Okay.
Bloody day.
Wine blood.
Again, that sense of awe, a powerful, almost fanatical, no, not almost, a fanatical esprit de corps, a fighting spirit. You feel yourself swept up amongst your comrades as you come to destroy the snoutless. And they call you in their language the snoutless. And they find you hideous and repugnant. You feel a sense of outrage that the snoutless have driven you from your lands, from your rivers, from your resources. How dare they? How dare they come? They build their cities, they bury their dead like animals. They stick them in the ground to fester instead of eating them so that they continue on with the rest of the tribe. Or at least burning them to release them so that they can return to the great cycle, to the great wheel. And they find you, at least this one, found the defenders ridiculous, contemptible caricatures of things on 2 legs, soft and weak and mewling.
We killed them.
When you say awe, they're in awe of a bigger Utini?
In awe of their purpose.
Okay. And do I get a sense of what that is?
With the I would say no, but with the 26,
Yeah.
as you follow that thread, and this is some trippy, like watching, not to self-report, but to be watching some paint flaking off the walls in some interesting ways. And I mean, you're having some serious experiences as you're going through this, and as you're watching, your character nobody in the ancient world would have the double helix for what it was in their mind. Mm-hmm. But you're watching these weird twined ladders spiraling down, dissolving as you're running down these lines and resolving into shapes, forms, figures, little vignettes and stories that you're trying to take out of context. And with a gasp, you do get 2 additional pieces. One of them is that they were in awe of the chance to help one of their young chieftains prove himself. And so you now know that Merrick's observation was correct, and that whatever was going on here, it was indicative of some sort of internal politics of the Utini. Mm-hmm. It probably doesn't surprise ways that they're sophisticated enough to have that kind of internal bickering. To the point where they would do something stupid militarily, like split their forces. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that there's a sense of the white furs, and there's a word that even with that high of a roll you can't quite catch, but if you sit with it, you might be able to pull bits and pieces of their language out, because their language is chanted. It'd be the chanting. It'd be chants that would come to you, and it's so in there and it's ingrained. And they listen to it, every day for all of their lives coming up. And the white furs, who they have, who there is a mixture of reverence and terror for, the firebenders who are over there. Unlike, perhaps surprisingly to Wesa, perhaps not, unlike the little ones, the lesser Utini, the white furs were not them.
Different race.
They came from somewhere else. They were not the Utini.
Okay. Interesting.
And as you kind of sit with all of this and just it's swirling around your head, you can, when you finally come back into the world of muscle and blood, you're really tired.
Yeah.
Not exhausted, but you've been on quite a little trip, and not even so much physically as just mentally, that your inner eye, your psychic vision inside of yourself has really been tested now.
I lay on the ground.
Yeah. Maya comes up and starts licking you.
I let her, yeah.
She usually she makes hay while she can, because you usually don't let her lick you so much. But you're tired right now, and so I'm basing this off of the real life leftist terrier in my life. So and then she kind of does the weird like crawl on your neck thing, where the paws on your neck, and she's nuzzling you and making little noises.
I feel she's helping.
Wesa, are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Do you need a nap?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I like naps. Of course, it's Lemonius, Publia's companion, who stayed behind. The strapping young lad.
The boy toy.
And
body of German.
he comes over and effortlessly lifts you up carefully.
Oh.
And puts you in your little bed that's still in the alcove. Okay. Well, you have a good nap.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning up. All right.
All right.
You sure you're okay?
Oh, I'm plenty fine, thank you.
You normally don't let her kiss you that much.
Once in a while you gotta let him.
Okay. All right. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you. And
starts to turn, then pauses.
And Octavia may or may not be there.
By now I'm gonna say she would have left.
Okay.
But she was there that morning.
Okay.
You're trying to work her up to the full day without 8 winter-old meltdowns.
Every day I pick her up from school.
Oh, okay.
I walk her there every single day, and I pick her up every day.
I would say wasted daycare, but her butt is working, so yeah. Bakery daycare.
Right, arrangements when you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, I would have shared.
Yeah, I assume you would have told.
You're just living in Octavia's hands. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I would take her
child labor.
protocol, make sure give her a little bit of projects, cleaning up the bakery. Would have already taught her how to.
There's a lot to do.
To communicate with clients and.
Communicate
patrons.
with clients. Okay, patrons. I like it.
Play with dough.
I'm gonna.
I love it.
Like scraps of shit.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at heading me off, Tatiana. That's good.
That's a little lemonade stand.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, just so that you have it queued up, I will go ahead and hand this to you now, because I think at some point, it may well be later on in the day, but you have the whole day to get out there. That you will make it out to the hut.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and hand that to you now, my darling. And as we before we get to the intermission, so there's an excited. Oh wow, they're here! They're finally here! It's about damn time. This is over at the Touch Gem compound, and you were actually uncharacteristically, Merrick. You and Jasmine were just kind of napping together, just enjoying. You're listening to her breathing, in a rare, calm moment. You had kind of a weird night, weird dreams. You're not, because Marcus had visited you,
right?
In the middle, like late, not in the middle of the night, but quite late. He had visited you, and you're having a hard time remembering some of them. Make a wisdom check and see if you can. How well you can recall them.
That would be 15.
Okay. You have a few details in it. You know that you were you, but at the same time you weren't. You know that you were in the Touch Gem compound, and yet at the same time you were in Pollux. And you kept going back and forth between being yourself in the compound and then being this other person in Pollux. But you can still somehow you were still both people. And I mean, you wake up not as disturbed as you might think, but definitely not comfortable on your hearing running. You're hearing running and excitement, and get the sweetmeats.
What?
Oh, I must have dozed off. Oh, I bet. Do you think it's the folks from the Shire? Do you think they finally made it in?
Do I sense the excitement? And I obviously heard.
Could be. Yeah, could be.
Something's got the young ones riled up.
Well, I guess you should go greet them, Centurion.
Oh yeah. You don't want to greet them as well?
No, I do. There's so much to do, and I didn't mean to. That's not wasted. Far from it. She nuzzles you and kisses you on the neck.
You sound like me sometimes. Sometimes you're putting the city before us.
I don't know when it happened. No, I know when it happened. It's going to be that way for a while, Merrick.
Come. Reaches out his hand.
Make a persuasion check. Low DC, because she wants to be convinced.
This persuasion?
Yep.
It's probably not going to be that great. 7.
Right. She takes your hand, and she does walk out into the hallway with you, and then she squeezes it with both. Sweetheart, I have to round up the troops. We have schedules to keep. The rest are depending on us.
I understand.
Tell them all I'll see them at dinner. I'll see if we can get some of the. Well, I know at least one of them's a deeper fern, so maybe we can have the deeper ferns over. There aren't that many in the city. We could hold them here.
And there's Waterwoods coming as well.
I mean the as far as clan goes, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, there should be. I hope. Ooh, we need the help. That would be really, really nice. I'm good with stone, not so much with wood. I mean, some, but I don't know. Anyway, most people think it's the other way around for me.
I don't know what the city would do without you. Wait. My love.
Probably crumble around your ears, but there you are. She gives you another kiss on the cheek.
I don't know what I would do without you. She gets her cheek back, kiss back.
She starts running off. Be good.
I shall try. I make my way.
Okay.
To the gathering or the noise.
All right. And
I've seen the gates probably.
No, they've made it into the Kithgi quarter, and
is this in the compound or?
No, not in the compound. But you can hear the. I mean, the buzz does extend all the way into the compound. But as you go out, you kind of. I mean, as the Kithgi are so wont to do, you see them coming up. They've gathered around and they're coming up. It is during the workday, so not as many, but maybe like 24 are following them in and gabbing and excited and kind of leaping about. And when we get back, we will meet them.
All right.
Yes. So before we go, I'm going to remind everybody that we're still. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the results of most valuable player when we get back. It was interesting. We had a 3-way tie, and then you'll see what my process is for resolving that. And this would be the first point. If you wanted to, you could vote for most valuable player. So you can do that in the chat. You can leave a comment for the day after on Wednesday. I'll take those, or either chat, because there's YouTube and Twitch going on simultaneously. So let us know what you think, or if you want to wait until the end of the episode or one of the comments, that's perfectly fine too. All right, y'all. We will see you back in about 15. Thank you so much.
Bye.
See ya.
Why limit your imagination? In the tabletop role-playing space, customization is everything, especially when it comes to your character. Whether you're a player, a painter, or a master of tales, your character is what matters most. Using high-quality, fully customizable miniatures, you can be built for battle with Eldritch Foundry.
Greetings, weary travelers, and welcome to Constructed Chaos, a channel dedicated to all things D&D, including live play streams and podcasts, 3D printing, painting, crafting, homebrew content, and guides for players and dungeon masters alike. Join our Discord for even more special benefits, announcements, and free downloadable content. And until next time, go out there and make some chaos.
We lift our voice to greet the rising sun. Your splendorous touch burns away the dark. With a soft golden hue, your world is made anew. We follow the path you've laid.
we're back. Thank you for rejoining us. Candle of Has to be cut.
All right, it's gotta be cut.
Just letting you know.
Candle of
Look at this. So, last.
Lit. Let's do that.
Weekend's
Yeah, let's wrap that back. Yeah. Blow it out, do it.
No. This may not be filmed in front of a live studio audience, but this is live television, Donnie. So I'm not going to give you, Corey, I'm not going to give you all of the descriptions, but I'm going to give you. Oh, sorry, hon. What did you need?
MVP.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So, from the last, see, that's just time. I'm just ready to throw myself into there. So we had an interesting situation as votes, as early return votes, and trickled in. Now, we actually had 2 votes for Merrick. We had 2 votes. Yeah. So good job, Merrick. You played your ass off on that.
Thank you.
We had 2 votes for Marcus.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
And we had 2 votes for Nilishli.
Wow.
So, no, it was so organically a 3-way tie, and at first it looked like Merrick, you were going to pull ahead, and then because you got yours immediately, So I was like, oh, okay, but no, it's really cool. And
Hanging chads.
Yeah, hanging chads. Oof, no, don't take us back. Don't take us back. I refuse. Joking. So the way that I'm gonna, I sat down with this and I thought like what would be true to the campaign, because this is a strong variation on how I normally would do MVP in a homebrew, and
we all get it. See?
Kind of thinking,
love it.
Now you have to fight.
I'm kind of thinking, no, and I was XP based, and I was a miser with XP as anybody who's a miser. You play for years without leveling.
That's true.
So, anyway, I think that to be true, especially since we already have fate points. The way that I decided to do it was to look at the tiebreaker was going to be the person who most contributed to the fellowship's highest destiny. That's how I decided to look at it, because I think all of those votes had merit, and I understood why everybody did that. So in that context, so this is not to say that I appreciate your role playing less or whatever. It's just in that context. It's actually going to be Marcus who gets it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
congratulations. And way so we're like,
so I'm going to give. So Marcus, I'm going to go ahead and note here next to the fate points that you have won. And at a time and place of your choosing, you can spend that. And essentially, it's pretty much on any of the stuff that Bless would affect. So, and not just because it's you, this is just how morale points are going to work. So, attack rolls, saving throws, ability checks, that kind of thing, not damage.
Okay.
You get to roll a die 8, and you get to add it on. And you can decide that after you make the roll.
Okay.
And that basically represents the character tapping into this growing esprit de corps and juramentum amongst the fellowship. That allows you to do things, which I have seen in real life, where people can do things when they're part of a fighting unit that they could not do as individuals. Yeah.
Perfect.
Congrats, buddy.
Yep.
Congrats, man.
Warning: I will not let you. I will not let you use that. I will not let you use that for a death save.
Okay.
So
are we collecting up to 10 for something?
Yeah. So. Good point. So when we hit 10 on the same character, something significant happens in the narrative for that character, specific to that character. And if this becomes a thing and we go on, yes, you can have the same character racking up multiple victories of 10, although that would be pretty impressive to me. So I currently I know what the first tier is for everybody. Had some fun with that, and we'll see, as this goes along. But yeah, I just want to hear more from our far away friends about kind of what they're thinking, and who's really
I love the feedback. Love the thoughts and just what you're thinking.
Yeah, and everybody had like a strong reason why. It's like, no, that makes sense. It also depends on what you're watching and what's interesting to you.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you, Tatiana. So on the I'm not going to go because that could be a whole new thing. I don't know. I may cheat and make that a flashback too. But essentially, who you have roll up You have 5 individuals who come with you. 2 of them, you understand pretty quickly, are well underway on their career of being a fellow kithgi with the old power. I wonder who you would. Think was their leader. Actually, it's kind of funny because they have a different structure than you do. So yeah, at the head is you see a fit. Yeah, actually, the imagery that comes to you, Corey, as Merrick is staring at her, is an oak in spring. So she has the dark skin of the oak. She has tough skin that somehow suits her very well, almost like leather, but without being cracked, and like the healthy bark of a tree almost. Her eyes are a verdant green of the spring, and then she has a lighter colored hair that is more akin to wheat, which is pretty striking against her shade. With her, right next to her, is about the same size, and again, he strikes you as not so much. It's more of an impression, like a feeling, than you're used to, where your character's pretty analytical and you're would be observing details, and instead you have like a scent of the old country. Because remember, you were born in Germentum, so you've never set foot in the Shire.
No, I have not.
This is all you've ever known. Actually, you might even have been conceived in Germentum, so literally, like none of that was with you. And these people, although they are also the kithgi equivalent of chosen, like you can just see immediately that they're different. They're vibrant. They're a little bit raucous. They're a little bit wild. They're kissing with abandon. They're holding and hugging. You see the men like openly weeping and laughing and just talking about, thank the mother's swollen breasts that we're finally here, and we're finally gonna be able to.
Are all 5 of them chosen, or just the 2?
The two for certain are. You actually don't know the answer to the question of whether or not someone who is filled with old power the way that you do can also be a waterwood. You've never heard of it, but it might just be that there aren't enough of you here, because your people are numerous. There might be more kithgi than there are humans, actually, with the way
we breed. Yeah.
They conduct themselves. So
like rabbits.
Even though the Shires, they don't organize themselves into these huge cities the way that humans seem to be obsessed with. And as this continues on, the one who was alongside the oaken spring, he looks like the uncanny light of dusk, commingled with the rich black soil. Is how he comes across to you. He even has a scent that's hard to place, that isn't myrrh or nutmeg or anything, but it's something hidden and primordial and pungent, but not necessarily unpleasant. Almost like you're snapping a root open.
Yeah.
And you're smelling
earthy.
That. Very earthy. Very earthy.
So dusky black, something short description.
Yeah. You hear the woman who looks in your eyes would be their leader, probably. Her name is Tulla Oldhill.
This is the Oaken Spring?
The Oaken Spring.
Tulla?
Tulla Oldhill, Tulla. Now, the Old Hills are not a clan that you've ever met, because you've only known the clans that are in Germentum. And her journey was probably the longest, because the Old Hills are all the way on the western coast of the continent. So when we say the Shires, that's like saying, that's almost as broad as saying the United States of America or something, or saying Europe. I mean, it's because the kithgi are spread out over that whole subcontinent area. So she's come a long way to be here. And then the male, that blending of dusk with the rich black soil, You hear Alarn, A-L-A-R-N, Alarn Deeper Fern. So some of the Deeper Ferns come up to him and are greeting him as cousins, even if he's never met them before.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you realize, I'm not going to make you roll on this because your character's quite observant. You realize that for all, like, you know how I a lot of times in this narrative, I'll emphasize the difference between how the humans are more reserved and not as emotional versus the kithgi. There is definitely, maybe not quite that wide, but there is definitely a gap from the Shire-born kithgi compared to the Germentum kithgi.
Yeah, there's gonna be. I mean, I can only imagine the ramp up transition of the difference between culture.
I mean, it's notable because like even some of the deeper ferns are like, whoa, when this guy is just kissing them and on top of them, and Tulla Oldhill is, you know, she's swaggering by and she slaps somebody on the rear and is kind of laughing about it. And
would Welda give him any insight on the way back?
You don't know.
Okay. I'll have to find out.
She's a hell. Wella Dushine is the hell of a traveler. You don't actually know how she is as a diplomat.
Right.
I mean, good enough to get them here, but
right.
maybe not great otherwise. And then the other three you'll have to commingle with at a different time. Go ahead and actually make an insight roll. See, I've got a
pretty good. That would be a 16.
Okay. I might get perception too, but that's high enough. Even though they're pretty passionate and emotional, these two at the front, Alarn Deeper Fern and Tulla Oldhill, the way that they're moving speaks to you like they're protecting the other three. So probably those are the two that have the old power manifested, and the other three are kissed by the Magna Mater.
All right. And where's Welda compared to this group of five? Is she?
Oh, you don't see her.
Oh,
she got back to the city probably late last night somewhere. You don't get the sense that she hung around for whatever ritual they were doing.
And is there a greeting that I might know from at least from the Shires that you might be more comfortable with in terms of greeting them, or is the greeting still the same whether it's here or elsewhere in terms of?
You don't know. So you're going up.
I'm going up.
Okay. The other kithgi know who you are. The other German kithgi know who you are. They look at you, nod, and part. Not the way that the citizens would part for Lord Titus, but slapping your back. Look, they made it. They made it. And one of them says, "You crazy fuck! Your idea actually worked." It's been 2 years.
Lucky for you and for us that they came for the calling.
Damn Skippy, Tulla says, and she puts out a calloused, ready hand.
I grip her, kind of military style,
kind of forearm to forearm, and she says, "Tulla Oldhill, who the fuck are you?"
Mare Touchshem, well met.
Oh, right. Okay, well met. She looks at you, her eyes sparkling. May you never hunger.
May you never hunger. Oh wait, there's probably a reply to that.
No, and she laughs. She looks over at Alarn.
May you never eat something like
that. And one of the ones that they were protecting. So one of the three remaining, one of them is male, two of them are female, and two of the females who are obviously related to each other, because they could almost be twins. Not they're close, but one is older than the other. She speaks up and she laughs. She's got an accent to her Ilocana for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "May you never thirst." She comes up.
I like that.
She smiles. Nara Deeper Fern.
Nara. Merrick, Touchgem.
Well met, Merrick. I'm kissed by the mother, a waterwood. I hear tale that you need us a lot.
We do, and thank the mother that you have made the calling, as did Granny many, many moons ago.
That's why we're here. And the 5 of them start to gather around. You would note too that the one male that was not that didn't have the old power, that wasn't chosen like you, he hangs back. He has dark mahogany skin with a mass of tight russet curls that are kind of exploding from his scalp. It's really messy hair. He's quite small too. Forgot to mention that, but I was visualizing him as pretty.
Do I see him?
Yeah.
What is your name?
Nara looks. Eluit doesn't speak a whole lot to people. Don't take offense.
None taken at all.
I prefer stones. Stones don't lie. But he doesn't meet your eyes, and that's all he says. And the Tulla kind of grabs him around the shoulders and pulls him in. He lets her pull in. You can see by the way she's manipulating his body weight that she's probably as strong as you are. I mean, the old power is singing in her veins.
My wife, I think, will be very interested in speaking with you. She deals with stone all the time.
Tulla says, "Oh, you say to Eluit, to the quiet one." Yeah. He doesn't reply. Tulla looks up. "Only one? Fine specimen like you? Come on." And she looks at you. She leans over
laughs.
And she gives you.
Oh, I got your smile.
She gives you a lingering kiss on the cheek, and you can feel the heat behind it, unabashed, unconcerned. The invitation is clearly there. She pulls away. I assume there's a lot more we could do with that scene, and I probably will flash back to that at some point.
I will walk them and kind of like bring them into a private area and just kind of, we don't have to role play this out obviously, but
that is not easily done, Corey. That you can eventually corral them away, but you know that there's going to be dancing, you know there's going to be food, you know there's going to be stories. So this is like torches and torches.
Okay.
Finally, you get the crowd to let business go on. Some of them are accusing you of being a spoil sport because they want the news, and this is really exciting to the younger ones who are not even the age of the city. You know, this is like people from the old country. They want to know, what's up.
Exactly.
You know, like
tales and legends.
How it is. Nara touches one of the blossoms of Maiden's Favor, this beautiful white spray. She touches, and you see her finger go behind, and she slices it from the wood, and then and even as you're watching, just with a deft little twist of her fingers, slides it up, and she turns that into a wooden hairpin, and then sticks it into her hair.
So cool.
And kind of beams. You want one? They're a little younger. The 2 female Waterwoods are a little younger.
Yes. I would.
I mean, even though you're not a maiden, so it won't really be good luck. But and
she like swings around his hair with all these beads in it, and
she says, "Oh no, not your hair. That'd be too boring for you. You're a thick boy." And she takes the wood and makes it into a little bracelet. Just as you're watching.
And as she does that,
because you have your adult bracelet.
Next to my coming of age bracelet, yes.
She wouldn't know this, but it's right next to Granny's hair that you would have.
Not yet.
Oh, you haven't woven that in yet?
That's happening a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me know when that. Let me know when that happens. Okay, so that's off and running. Eventually. So there probably is more to that. We probably will flash back, but eventually you get them aside. Are you going to try to get all 5? Are you going to try to speak to Tulla or to Alarn first, or how do you want to do that? This would be like at night.
Yeah, I think probably Tulla first, just to kind of get a sense of how to approach them and kind of work with her to figure out if it makes sense eventually to bring them all together. But I want to get a sense. She seems to be the most engaging and the most open, and kind of
in a sense, yeah.
I want to basically, I want to go through the process a little bit, just a little bit about, I know our cultures may be different because of how we've grown up. And, we can roleplay this out if you want.
Okay, so you'll start to talk to that. Are you going to get to, I guess the thing that I need to know right now, Corey, is are you going to try to get to any of the military situation, or are you just trying to have them a soft landing with the culture?
I want to do a little bit of the culture, but say we need to get them integrated because of the dire situation we have, and I need to figure out I need your help to figure out how to incorporate those who have come.
Okay, so yeah, we'll hit that. We'll hit that next session because that's going to be an important involved theme that I don't want to rush.
I just want that kind of somewhat set before we head off. Maybe, just a little bit, like how they going to either. How
You're going to do what you can do in one night.
Yes, exactly.
Then you will leave at the dawn.
All right, sounds good.
All right. I kind of was hoping that the whole fellowship would be there, but I guess not. It doesn't work that way, or it may later. But I do want to hit that this episode, Tatiana.
We did actually have Titus wanted to have a fellowship dinner before we left.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would know that we're at the ship.
Yeah,
or at least I am.
Okay. Ooh, Allie, does that mean that I do your? I was kind of saving your scene for the end, but.
And I wanted to see Jerem as well.
I guess we're gonna do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's safe for us for the end. I was just gonna go down and check on her, make sure she's okay.
Yeah, and with that being said, I know I'm sitting there for quite some time. Quite some time. But I was either if Titus had come down to check on me.
Check on you, yeah.
Or
wellness check.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely was.
You did.
Yeah.
You would.
I will absolutely.
You will. Okay, so at some point during that.
You notice the shadowy, crazy feeling down there.
Yeah.
All of that.
I'm walking in and I'm just seeing a gigantic silver person sitting there holding a thing of their own blood on a bench that's unnaturally dark.
Yeah, and also you see Winter's Harvest positioned on my lap as well.
Par for the course. Makes perfect sense. Okay. Yeah, Titus will slowly walk down and kind of like knock, making himself known and be like, Nilishli, are you alright?
And without breaking like concentration or kind of contact with the dark, I'm going to say, Titus, can you send one of your men to find Griff?
I will put a load out for him, yes.
And she just continues like...
Are you going to be okay here by yourself?
Developing. Unsure.
Things with blood are always antique fables and fairy toys, but just be careful.
Aye. I'll do my best.
I'll see you later.
Okay. Cool. So that was important that I say that.
No, it is. No, it is.
Look around.
It is.
And Titus will write in his hand, for Griff, eyes only, kind of make a mark. And just like, if my pages find him, then just send him where Nilishli is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Eloped.
You get to the hut. You know what you find at the hut. Did you have a chance to look it over? The scroll?
No, I thought I was meant to just read it raw in front of everybody.
Oh, okay. Because I was.
But I can.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so go ahead and dip your toes into that because she would note. Catryn wrote that in grammatically perfect High Valkyrie, but it's very funny to you because she has none of the grace of a native speaker. It's just perfect grammatically. But anyway.
Okay. Like it's really dated, just like jive turkey and stuff. Like all the slang is completely wrong.
Well, because there are all these cultural references that you're just not going to get if you weren't born into that civilization. Guess then with that. Yeah, you do. The page. I mean, it's not like he's hiding. The pages do find Griff.
But do I know where? Well, never mind. Yeah, I already gave the note. Never mind.
Oh, did you write something for him?
Yeah, I was gonna write where Nilishli is and like, hey, deliver this to him. But if they would have found him and then ran back to me, and then I would go talk to him and tell him where he is. But
no, they can deliver. Yeah, they can certainly deliver a note. Okay. Yeah, Allie, let's go ahead and run. Let's go ahead and run with that.
Okay.
Okay. So you the thing that finally makes it manifest, makes it real, is when you feel the presence, but the step is wrong as you see Griff start to painfully come down the stairs. And you can see, you don't need to make a roll for this, you can see immediately that he looks worse off than he did yesterday.
Worse off how?
He's remember how he was just starting to get some of his stride back? The way that he's walking, the fact that he has a hand over his bandages. And at this point, go ahead and make a medicine check.
I told him to get healed by Marcus. Okay.
You know he's not going to do that.
16.
Okay. It looks like his bandages. It's hard. It is hard. There was a pretty high DC because it is hard to see clearly right now. But it looks like his bandages have become freshly soaked. And he comes down, and somehow that's what triggers it.
Fuck. Okay.
And you are in the dark. And you feel something around you now, not just with you.
I am not your maker. Choose your next words with care, little one.
Calmly, Nilishli's gonna say, I have 2 questions, and in exchange, my next kills will be done in your honor.
In exchange, I will allow you to continue breathing.
You take 2 points of necrotic damage through your body. You can't see her. This is just all internal. But you can feel her moving through you. And you realize that what was moving through your organs earlier was her.
Ugh. Ugh. Okay.
It was diarrhea.
It was diarrhea.
Mistress of the bloody soil.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay. With resolve, I'm gonna ask, can Griff hear this? Or it's really in my head?
You don't know. What you do know is that when you're staring, the rest of the ship just got really effing dark. You are not even sure anymore if you are in the world of muscle and blood right now. There's just a bare suggestion of what's around you.
Okay.
From some far distance, you hear some sort of muffled Nilishli.
Feels like I'm in a dreamscape, almost.
You don't have words for it, maybe.
Okay, with calmness and resolve, like no fear, I'm gonna ask her, why are you laughing?
You're like,
because I'm terrified and she's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask her and say, I will choose my next words carefully. I have a question, and it might benefit you. And the first question is...
You take 2 more points of necrotic damage. Just from her laugh echoing through your chest.
Okay. I'm gonna continue. My first question is, how do I bring one back from the dead?
This time there's a somewhat lighter touch, but you can feel whatever sublime matrix made you what you were, that allows you to breathe and to feel as a human does, even if from a different perspective, is subtly yanked on, just jiggered a bit.
What a foolish question, little one. You already know the answer.
I'm gonna feel into wherever I am a little bit more and ask for an answer to come forth.
You follow the tug of that divine matrix that Tezcatli made perfectly, as only the hand of a goddess could. And you image it almost, again, Nilishli doesn't have the words, but she experiences almost as though a hologram of it were leaving her and being adapted and set into another person.
There is only one price. The blood price.
And your ears begin to bleed. You take 3 points of necrotic damage.
It's just a bloody soil, of course.
I don't know what you guys like about this lady.
Okay.
She likes her money.
Yeah, jeez.
Then my next question is,
You do, as it falls, you see that you can no longer, you can feel the bench under you, supporting you. You can't see it anymore. And your blood, which usually doesn't glisten so much, there's an exaggerated luster to it as it falls in this space off of your cheekbone and kind of comes to your chin, drips down, and it just falls into a lap you can't even see anymore, into the void.
damn, this is terrifying. Okay. I'm going to... I'm going to ask, is there another way besides a chosen to die for Griff's brother to come back?
There are always ways. And they are always the blood price. Now go!
And you're flung off of your perch, slammed into the deck.
Ooh.
You take another 6 points of force damage from her, which would have shattered the bones. Then you'd now be dead if you were mortal, with the accumulation of it. And there's a bit of bedlam going on as you see Dominy's gone wild, and you see Griff pulling the mana in the air, blasting at this, and as you fall out the backside of it, you can see through it. You don't think he can see through to you. And there's shimmers of force as he's trying to shatter whatever you were just in or wherever you were just at. You hear the creak of the bench as it warps, as his intent warps it, and it splinters like angry bees up into the air. So you hear this, Domini, he's gone wild. What do you do?
So they can see Griff doing this inside the bow.
The couple that were down there.
Okay.
The couple that were organizing things, but leaving Crazy Silver Lady well enough alone.
For sure.
They're screaming up to you.
Okay, yeah.
And you can hear. I mean, you can hear some warping.
Yeah, 100% run down.
Okay.
Griff on your left, and just like coming down and just smash into it with the sword as I can.
Okay. You see what looks like this cocoon of shadow that has woven itself tightly around. Make a perception check. And let me see if you see Nilishli, because you have a better angle than he does.
14 perception. Yeah, 13.
Okay. You see a leg. You see a Nilishli leg sticking out from kind of as you're running down from the side. What do you want to do while this is going on?
So at this point, I've been flung off.
Yeah, you've been flung off. You were stunned for a moment. Not even really physically. You've taken far worse physically, but just spiritually, as this goddess dismissed you from her presence. You do taste though. There's a little bit of blood coming down your nose, and you taste your own blood. You feel winter's harvest just rippling under, and you have a moment where you don't know if the weapon impels itself to this, but you slip and just nicks you. And as soon as it nicks you, the blood's gone.
Okay. I'm at peace with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I am going to kind of slowly get off the floor and look around in a daze. And I think at this point, if I can penetrate through that shadow,
Okay.
I'm going to see Griff and kind of come to my senses and attempt to leave whatever shitstorm I've just created.
I know this is your favorite one, Allie. Make a wisdom save and see how well you can try to recompose yourself in the world of muscle and blood.
Not super well.
Okay.
I'm going to say that's a... Wait, guys, what do I...
-2 for that.
That's a 2.
That's a 2. Okay. So you're still effectively stunned. I mean, you're trying. You're trying. You can see him, but it's like being in a dream. It's one of those dreams where you can see the person you're trying to warn, or you can see the person you're trying to shout to, and he just can't hear you.
Oh man.
And like your mouth is opening, and it's just no sound is coming out. So you're like, I have to get up. I have to move. So out of this, the cocoon begins to dissipate, and you hear Griff as his wounds seem to have some sort of pulse from inside of him. More blood rushes down, and from this rend in whatever this is, even as the cocoon dissipates, you begin to see something else erupting and writhing out of the shadows. Your men are the men, frankly, are screaming now.
For sure, and I can see that Griff's like a horrible in pain, but he's trying to dissipate this magic.
He's trying to do something. Yeah, he's trying to fight it or do.
And I get to see her on the ground.
Do something with it. Now you can't. Yeah, now you can see more clearly.
Since I've had experience with that kind of like shadow when we were at Memoria with the Bazarets, would I recognize this?
This is a funny one for you, Donnie. Make an Arcana check.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That is a 16.
Okay, I would have laughed if it was a 20. No, 16.
Yeah.
Yes and no. There is a similar way. There is a similar motion to it, but this feels wild, uncontrolled. Whatever is, and you do with that high of a roll, you get the distinct sense that something is coming through.
Okay. And I could see it pulling from Griff, from his wound.
No, sorry. Pull it. So there's a.
I mean, like his pain going into, they're feeding off that.
His pain, potentially. What you're certain of, though, is that something is beginning to sprout and erupt from the cocoon and the shadows, even as the cocoon itself is starting to dissipate.
Okay.
It's hatching something.
So it looks like it's hatching. Just
kind of, yeah. And because you're behind it. Nilishli, so it's not, its intention is not on you right now.
I'm behind it, so
Yeah.
it's in front of me.
Yeah.
Like closer to the porthole door.
And the two men, are basically on the stairway right now.
Yeah, is there like blood actively coming out of Griff going into this thing?
Not yet.
Okay. And he's obviously doing some sort of magic.
Yeah, you can see the line. You can see the lines of force. You don't know if you would call it will working.
Okay.
Because you just hear him screaming, and it bears very little resemblance to Catryn's measured approach. But you do see these waving, almost mirage-like lines around this.
Okay.
And he gasps out, "Tenaculum!" Make another Arcana roll.
Oh, goo. That's a 7.
Okay. Go ahead and make a.
I don't know him. What? Who is that?
Who is that masked man?
Yeah, remember when we were earlier saying that I like my cliffhangers? I was not trying to do this, y'all.
Yeah.
Make an Arcana check for Nilishli.
Oh my god. No, 4.
4? Okay. Okay.
So I know it's something of Roth, though.
You can speculate.
I got a 17 and it teetered to a 3.
You can certainly speculate.
Of anything that I would have ever seen of that, and then seeing him in pain yelling out like that, and then whatever Nilishli was doing with blood sitting around her when I was coming down to check on her, for that.
You can reasonably, I mean, Titus, for all of his silliness sometimes.
Got a quick wit.
He's intelligent. You have a 14 intelligence, so You can make a reasonable deduction based off of that. That's fine, because I mean, you don't need a roll for that.
And yeah, Titus will take his sword and he'll put a little bit of his blood, cut into it, and then slam down into that cocoon.
Okay, so you start. Oh no, you're still stunned. Griff would normally be faster than you, but his injuries are such that he's sluggish right now.
Look bad. I'm kidding.
Okay, so you slice yourself.
Yeah, kind of like cover the blade.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have your gauntlet. I don't think you'd have your gauntlets on for this work.
I mean,
so yeah,
100% dark.
Okay, your flesh is harder to cut than it used to be. So you have to get some. You have to get some force to draw blood on it.
God, I'm strong.
What you do? Yeah, I mean, and a greatsword's not meant for
a party wipe.
Not meant for that kind of thing.
I'm joking.
For what?
You slash it and you come down. Go ahead and roll.
Nah, I'm joking.
All right.
Come on.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Party
I'm not manifesting anything. I'm
19.
joking.
19. Okay.
19,
You
okay.
slash down into the center of mass of this thing. Roll damage.
Okay.
Come on.
5, 6, 7. Well, sorry. 7, 8, 9. 9 plus 4, 13.
All right. So as it comes down, you bring it, body weight. This you've been doing literally your entire short life. As you come down, there is something to hit. So you're not just swinging at smoke, but it seems to almost slide off of whatever this body is. You're beginning to see shadowy tentacles forming around this mass.
Oh my god.
You're seeing these eyes beginning to open in the mass, kind of like almost at random, like it's some sort of jelly or pudding that the eyes are opening into. And you don't see any of the tentacles actually touching the ground. It's kind of floating there, bobbing a bit in some sort of ethereal sea.
It's like some of the old one. Cthulhu reference.
So could I tell if it did take any damage, or it just seemed like it just didn't matter?
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, golly, these checks are great. That is a 8.
You're not sure.
Does my sword feel as though it made purchase?
You did strike something physical in the world of muscle and blood. Yes.
And I know it's not Nilishli because I could see her. Great.
Make an athletics check for me. Don't fail.
Oh no. That is athletics plus 4, 13.
13. It's good. You're strong. Okay. So one of the many tentacles tries to wrap around the offending arm and into it. It starts to wrap. You manage to yank whatever this is. You know that getting inside of those eyes, it's not going to help. So you yank out. Another one of the tentacles comes around and smacks you pretty well, and you're not dazed, but you know that if you were a normal man, that would have been enough to break your neck. You eat 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Whoa.
Okay. Can I do an action surge to attack it again?
You may.
All right.
And where am I even?
Nilishli! Yeah,
you're on the ground. You're on the ground, but you're still like trying to get yourself together.
That is a 21 to hit.
Okay. Everything you draw on your ancient bloodline, everything starts slowing down. The next tentacle to come out that's whipping around looks almost frozen. As you slash, then this time you come in for a horizontal murder stroke and roll damage.
Whew, goodness. 10, 11, 14.
Okay. Now, Griff. I know it's kind of I'm deliberately having this chaotic because these are not going to be nice, neat little turns.
Yeah.
You hear him just again cry out. Okay. And you feel the air next to your head get pushed. This wave of force slams into this thing, and between the murder stroke, that time you know that you did something because you you can see some of the body retreat a bit as you shove it, and you can feel your blade begin to sink deeper into the shadow. Combined with whatever he's doing, that seems to be somewhat more effective though, and you see some of the shadow begin to be dissipated around it. Make another wisdom check.
I do have another thing. When it did hit me,
baby Jeebus.
and I was wearing the necklace, did it shut away from the necklace whatsoever?
I'm a 20, baby.
Yoda, go.
17 plus
Minus 2.
Oh, okay.
15.
That is sufficient though, because the DC was dropping every round that you needed. So you get up and you see your leader, and you see whatever Griff is or isn't becoming to you in deadly danger right now. So you force yourself to your feet. You have Winter's Harvest in your hand. What are you doing?
Now I'm fucking pissed off, and I'm.
So can you picture this kind of shadowy blobby thing that's?
But it's in front of me, and how big would you say this thing is?
It's about, because remember, it's not actually touching the ground. So it's kind of head level, but it's really only about, say, I don't know, what's that, a yard or something? I don't know, maybe less of
off
body.
The ground?
Of body. So it's like floating off the ground. It has about this much body to it, and then tentacles coming around. It was getting bigger, but whatever Griff did, slammed it with, a lot of it just dissolved away.
Okay. I'm gonna freaking attack, and I'm gonna yell before I do that. Titus, Griff, go up the hole. Like, I don't want them here when I'm wielding Winter's Harvest.
Roll to hit. And oddly enough, it is quote-unquote flanked, so you get to attack with advantage. Its intention is not on you.
Yeah.
Plus 5.
Yeah.
13!
Roll again.
Oh, right.
One more time. Maybe better.
It's actually...
Plus 5 is 24.
Woo!
13 is not sufficient. 24 is.
Okay.
Amazing.
So you come and slash on it. Roll damage.
We're not gonna leave you.
Damage.
We're just gonna keep.
Which die
You
is
got
she
a die
rolling?
10. So you start with the base of die 10.
This is so numbered well. This one?
Yep.
No, you got it.
Oh. 10.
10, and then plus 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that cut, you do not have the same issue that he has. Your weapon, when it hits, seems to find purchase just fine. You don't slide off of it. I will leave that to you as the player to reason why. But you hack into it, and you see some of the eyes then, Allie, come around to your side.
Let's go, bitch. Let's go.
Around. They slip around to your side, and some of the tentacles lash out to try to grab you now. Make an athletics check as you're struggling against the tentacles.
I like tentacles. That's going to be 15.
All right, you use Winter's Harvest and you ward them off, slashing at them as they go. You drop back maybe a step, drop into a deeper stance, weaving, making yourself just with micro adjustments, making yourself a harder target so you're not flat-footed. Griff is not going to move. Nope. So one of its tentacles, instead of striking at Titus again, just kind of continues the circuit, and you manage to duck that as it whistles over your head with significant force. Okay, what are you doing?
I'm fucking hit it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
hit it.
flank of it.
Unfortunately, it has now distributed its eyes. It has eyes in the back of its blob.
Fucking dick.
Wait, it grew new eyes in the back of its blob?
Some of the eyes, because it was a cluster device, some of the eyes came around to your side, and some eyes are still staying over there.
Oh my god.
Golly. All right.
And they swiveled around, to the
So
side.
it's got multiple eyes in all different directions.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is going to be a 24 to hit.
Nice. Okay. You see the significant divot that she's already made into it, and you just follow that. You're nothing fancy.
Hell yeah.
Just trying to take it out.
I'm going for gold.
Okay.
Come on, baby. That is going to be 10,
Nice.
13,
That's a good hit.
14, 15, 16, 17.
It's
Pretty solid.
okay. No, that's
He next to allies for a +6? Or for +6?
No, that's if they attack
No.
Griff. I do get the Sentinel to get on that.
That's a special thing.
yeah. That's it. That's for rogues. And then yes, there also is a sentinel too. So if it attacked Griff, you would get
then I get
a
the
reaction on it. All right. Woof. And that, even though you are operating in the world of muscle and blood, that seems to cleave, because you probably got about 70% of the way through it with your hit, and you hit the bottom of it where you can get your weight, your leverage on it, and then you carve it in twain. It doesn't dissipate, but what it does do is fold back in on itself, and like it's being sucked in a vacuum cleaner or something behind it.
Is it still there? That's
Is it still there?
Yeah, is it like reformed?
I thought it like went into nothing.
There's some shadows that are kind of drifting, almost like clouds, except shadows. And even as you watch, they slowly fade like fog before the early morning sun. And you hear...
I'm going to run over to Griff immediately.
Okay. He's just... You see his hand is just slick with blood. Now he's dropped down to a knee.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Titus. I'm gonna go.
We need to get him to
Marcus.
Yeah, and then we'll both shoulder each.
Shoulder, arm over each shoulder, and carry him.
Okay.
It is hilarious. I imagine that in my mind. It's so perfect.
Marcus, you are enjoying a lackadaisical
dinner,
almost paradise-like moment with your wife and your children, your younger children.
Get the fuck out of
You're on one of the you're on one of the many hills of Jeremy, the gently rolling hills, because the Vorn Keep is the largest, so it's pretty flat here. But you found one of the rolling hills, and you're actually teaching the next generation to cloud gaze.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my god! What?
That one looks like a RPG. Oh
no, Daddy. No, it doesn't. And your youngest one, Lucia, who's the cute one and just adorable. Take it back, Daddy.
Looks just like a cloud. What it looked like to you?
Like.
Where is that idiot?
Yeah, no, as you're.
Where is her?
Yeah. like dresses and sweetmeats and. Make way! Make way! No! All right. And Alba says, "Oh, oops, goodness."
Oh, we'll take the little ones in. I'll be right back.
Okay, and Lucia says, "Daddy, what's happening?" And she's like, "Come along now, come along."
Dresses and sweetmeats, darling. Dresses and sweetmeats.
And you see about half a dozen sailors, along with the one sailor, come Myrmidon, trailing you. You see Titus and Nilishli carrying a freshly bloodied and pale-looking Griff.
Oh, shit.
Gosh.
And he's kind of been babbling to you things like, always comes with a price. Knew it could be the last dance. Fuck. Always the worst when it backfires on your own fucking guts.
Nilishli.
Just stuff like that. Like,
make sure he hears that Marcus can help. He has to let him help.
You're dragging some of the lingering. This isn't the. This would be at dusk. Yeah,
at dusk.
Yeah, probably at dusk because it's been that long. So I was going to say the washerwomen. They're long gone, but you have some. Carpenters' apprentices who are relaxing, who are dipping their feet in one of the creeks. Holy fuck! And they kind of get up as they see their lord with this man. And the silver lady. Okay, what do you do? You see them
right here.
Marcus! Yeah,
moving. Yeah,
moving towards them.
Moving with the quickness. Okay, are you gonna run?
Yeah, I'm gonna run to them.
Okay.
Okay, and then as we lay Griff on the ground, I'm going to whisper in his ear, like really close, and say, "Marcus is gonna help you. You have to let him." No. And then as he's combating it, I'm gonna do a really big kiss. Okay, like really big kiss. He's not gonna.
Okay. Ooh.
Gross.
Maybe. Ooh. Yeah. Thanks, Randy. Man, you don't know about that part of him yet. This is ingrained. Make a persuasion check.
Don't be a fucking idiot. To him. That's it. Let him help.
Can I help?
9.
How would you help?
I'm the one who told her to let Marcus help. Can I just be like, you have to let him help? Like, and just kind of like encouraging him to listen to her.
Normally I would say no, but because Nilishli's bringing out the big guns, yeah. So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll that again. No, she gets to roll with advantage.
God.
Yeah, yeah. She rolls the second time.
Okay, come on, Griff. Come on, buddy. 20. Wow, that was even worse. That's going to be a...
9.
It's still going to be a 9. That's the best one I got.
Okay, that's what you got.
Do I have inspiration?
I don't know if you do or don't.
Of course I don't.
Nope.
Of course I don't.
He gasps, and even though he grabs you weakly, smearing some more blood on you, you can feel some sort of deep-seated resistance to the idea. And in the moment, you can't tell if it's deep resistance to healing, deep resistance to indebtedness, deep resistance to the unknown, or something entirely different. So you run up to this man. Get the fuck away from me.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, this is just pissed off.
And he looks at you, and you can kind of see the pleading in his eyes, or maybe the sorrow. And he grabs your hand, paws, claws at your arm. Some more of the blood running through there.
I'm going to, with my strength, which I know we have very equal strength, I'm going to lie him on the ground. And almost like a child or a baby, I'm going to put my hand on his chest and say, relax and trust me.
Roll again.
Okay. Why is this happening? Okay, that's going to be
the night for it.
It's a 9 again.
It's the night for it. He's a tough. No, he is. He's a tough crack. Okay, he doesn't fight you. And right now with his injuries, you definitely would get the better of him anyway. But he trusts you. As Marcus comes up, you can feel his intent, and even in this badly damaged state, his chosen essence is still powerful enough that you could feel his intent swivel around to Marcus, and there's a dangerous, potentially even ugly ripple in the air. Okay, Marcus, you're coming up. You have a couple of your morning time parishioners who happen to be around who are watching. The carpentry lads have run up.
Whatever.
Domini, what do we do?
Nothing.
Okay, so they're like, don't crowd them. What do you do?
Pray with Marcus.
Yeah, I can't guarantee he's going to accept this, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll try. Whatever that is, as I point out the rippling around him.
Yeah. You hadn't noted it, but you see it now that
Whatever that is.
There's almost like a heat mirage coming up, but yeah. But there's no heat to it.
I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
The same way that I would speak to a wounded animal or a wounded creature that is just fighting everything against him or them, trying to use my voice to just, it's all right. We're here for you. No one is going to hurt you. Accept me. Accept this, and we will be fine.
Flay you alive, fucker.
I'm not your enemy.
Make an insight roll.
17.
He's not talking to you.
Oh, he's in his mind right now. Deeply in his mind. I have no idea who he's talking to. He might lash out at me, and if that's the case, I'm sorry, but I'm going to try.
What was the blood magic you were doing, Millie?
I was trying to contact
The sun is going down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm facing the setting
bloody
sun
soil.
to get the last rays of light that I can.
Yep.
I'm asking Quailithorn, guide my hands, help me bring peace and solace to this man. Give me the power to do what I need to do.
And I will restrain him physically down so he doesn't actually try to lash out.
And I'm gonna put my hands on his chest and one hand kind of holding the weight down on the ground.
Okay.
We're here in a space of love. And I'm gonna just place my hand on his chest above hers to go through her to him.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's why the light pays him the big bucks.
Marcus, when you touch Nilishli and you feel this golden light come to you, when it moves into her, it's like you hit a wall of granite.
Understood. Then come off to the side of her hand, still on his chest.
Your hand stops for a moment. You hover, and you feel like with your voice alone, you might be able to get some small fraction of this healing power to him without touching him.
Waylathorn, guide it. Go through me.
So there is no physical contact, and in the world of muscle and blood, that's a huge thing. But this gift that you've been given, this grace that flows through you now, it rides this time on your voice. Make a religion check.
Doing some Reiki with Quailethon.
Hey!
That's exactly right.
With religion, it's going to be a 17.
Okay.
Better than I've ever done with my religion.
You're like,
Yeah, you have a thing with religion rolls. Yeah.
I believe it is, you know what, doesn't matter. Okay. You can feel in the reverse from how a warrior might, you can feel the light find purchase in at least his physical form. And he's not all better by any means, but you don't see his bandages just gushing, and you see him kind of, it works almost like throwing cold water on his face or something. This light. Shot. You see a little bit. It's like almost like a pale aura instead of that rich golden light that you saw him, slinging. It's a subtle, slight aura, but it does swirl into his body, into his form, disappears.
I'm gonna sit back on my haunches.
Good job, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm gonna keep my hand on his chest.
Stay with him.
Like letting it rise and fall with his breath.
You should be stabilized.
He smiles at you. Jarrell. And then he goes to sleep.
Ted will stand up, super fucking pissed off, huck his sword to the ground, and start walking away, just cursing to himself.
I'm gonna grab that sword.
Well, no, it's just like motherfucker. Yeah, just like
Initially,
yelling, kicking, pissed.
Thank you for bringing him to me. When we have a chance on the boat, I'd like to talk to you about some things.
Aye, and she hangs her head in kind of shame.
Fucking fools! Just like
It'll be the death of me.
God damn it! Shame.
Yeah, go ahead. And you're not trying to hide anything, Nilishli?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think she would.
16.
Okay, what is it? Can you give Marcus a slightly deeper reading on that?
Yeah, there's like an knowledge that she... What's a better way to explain fucked around and find out? She kicks the bee's nest, and she's aware of the immaturity that she brought into the situation, and she feels like really guilty what's happened to Griff. Really guilty.
There are times that the universe gives us learning lessons. Well, I wouldn't say the universe, sorry. There are times that the world gives us learning lessons. Sometimes they're brutal. Sometimes they ain't. This one was harder than most, but no loss of life. Take the lesson. Don't do it again.
Aye. And then she like kind of just rotates her body facing away from Marcus, but still with Griff.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to my family. Calm down, my daughter.
Okay. Yeah, she's bug-eyed.
So what was that one again?
And I think it's probably the only time that any of the people in the city have actually just seen him fucking mad. Storming Bass.
Yeah, because even it's funny because
and they have no idea why.
Oh no, the people of the city. No, you're right. Because the only other time I can think of would be like literally inside of the tower during the battle.
Yeah, that's it.
When you were screaming sweet nothings such as "I will bathe you in your kin."
Oh, I love that line.
So,
I just think it's like shit smash of him just walking up by you.
Well, friends. I think that is a good point to begin to wind the story down. So we will when next, I told you it's just going to kind of be what
The
it's
next
going to be.
unexpected scene happens.
Yep.
27.154.
On this very eventful team.
noon.
No, it's dusk. It's dusk.
That was
It's dusk.
scripted.
It's still another 6 hours.
God damn.
Night ain't over yet.
It's 12 hours until we fucking go on the boat. Yeah.
So we are at dusk of that 8th day after the Utini assault. If you can imagine that, it's only been 8 days since that whole massive battle. Wesa has made some significant headway, but you have not had a chance yet to report back to the Fellowship.
No.
And we will hold space for Catryn's words, I think, next time though, because I want to get those out there. All right. So I hope to all of you who have been around on this very interesting journey. There is a whole lore that goes around what happened there that isn't just me deciding that I was going to be capricious, which I have a feeling we'll probably be delving into.
Don't forget to vote.
So don't forget to vote. So see whoever you thought did the best job of entertaining you or role-playing or
mass destruction,
fucking around and finding out.
It'll be an interesting vote.
MVP of fuck around and find out. All right.
Or death of me really means something now.
Or planning, or planning, or strategy, or any of those things, any of the fun stuff, or all, because this is one of the beautiful things about role-playing is that we all get different things out of it. So until next time, as you go out there on your journey, please stay safe and stay curious. And thank you so much for the gift of your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.